Friday, we'll have a slight chance for some rain showers, cloudy, high around 64. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 45.
Remember when you get to work to hop over to WCPT820.com or the TuneIn Radio app and stream The Stephanie Miller Show. Weekdays 8 to 11 a.m. on Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter. Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's Progressive Talk from TuneIn.
All right, this is exciting, isn't it?
Here we go, guys, in 5, 4, 3. Here we go.
It's time for Joan Esposito. Live, local, and progressive.
Thank you for good programming. I appreciate the content and really enjoy every moment.
It's a privilege to have you on your station and listen. It's good stuff. It's very educational.
It's time for Joan Esposito on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not Joan, as you can tell. It's retired State Senator Rickey Hendon, and I have the great honor of sitting in for Joan Esposito today. And I will be with you for 3 hours, and me and Lady B.
Yes.
It's like we got a reunion going on up in here.
Yes, we do.
I'll just tell you, I just love it. I love being here on 8:20 a.m. On WCPT. You know, I'm not doing my regular show right now, but they're letting me co-host and guest host, and I'll do it anytime they want me to do it, as long as that's not that early in the morning. That's the only one I can't do, because I'd be asleep at 5 o'clock. I can't lie. But 2 or after, you just call me. I'm glad to be here. We need you to call in. We want to talk. It's so much to talk about today. My son, Lil Rick, I hope he calls in. He's out there at the May Day protests, which are going on all across America. And it was one reason I had to reroute my way to get here to the station, because they had the expressway blocked where I would normally get on the expressway to get here. That was blocked. Ashland was blocked. They're in Union Park, and that's where my son is at. And I couldn't get around. I had to come all the way around up Sacramento to Milwaukee. It was crazy. But I made it. And yes, we got callers calling in already. I put it on my Facebook page. You know, you can go to my Facebook page, but the best way is to go to WCPT 820 AM Facebook page, and then you can hear the callers. You can hear me, Lady B, everybody. All right, so I recommend that you do that. I really appreciate if you do that. Okay, I wanted to have a couple of things real quick, and then we'll go to the phones. But we want to talk about Trump and this stupid war, Russia. A lot of people, I don't know why people just leaving Russia out of it as if they don't exist or they're on our side. You know, Trump and J.D. Vance just cut the funding for Ukraine, helping Russia. Trump got rid of the tariffs against Russia, helping Putin. And I found out today, Lady B, the Russians are in Mali, in Africa. They're Africa Corps, trying to prop up their own dictator over there in Africa. So the Russians are busy. They're everywhere. And I guess Trump is trying to match them, because I was told that after he gets through with Iran, as if that's something easy to do, okay, without reopening the Strait of Hormuz, he's going to go to Cuba. Yeah. The poor Cuban people are going to have to deal with that mess. All right. The Joan Esposito show is sponsored by Team Hawkberg. And if you're purchasing a home, you need to do what Joan did and call Team Hawkberg, your trusted local lender. You know, Sally, Bob, and their newborn son, Gus, they needed a home. They had a combined income of $200,000 a year, $200,000. They called to get pre-qualified. David answered their questions, introduced them to a realtor, and helped them secure a mortgage with a low down payment. Let's review. David pre-qualified Sally and Bob to purchase the home for 4 months before their lease expired, introduced them to a realtor who located them the perfect home and helped them secure a mortgage with only 3% down. Check that out, just 3% down. If you're purchasing a home or want the same outstanding service Sally, Bob, and Gus received, call Team Hawkberg now at 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com and Google Team Hawkberg to read their 700 5-star reviews. Team Hawkberg, help Joan and thousands of WCPT listeners. They'll help you too. But they can't help if you don't call 855-956-2843 or visit their website, you know and love, 56david.com, Atlantic Coast Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender. All right, Lady B, I'm ready to go to the phones. Let's hear what's on people's mind. We got, Jim? Yeah. Jim, go right ahead. You're on the Joan Esposito show.
Esposito show.
Right.
Hi, Ricky.
I almost called myself Joan Esposito. I had to get that part right. I'm sitting in for her.
Yeah. Well, with traffic, by the time you get there, you're scrambled.
Right.
The David Ellison station, Channel 2, had Trump on. Ellison bought Channel 2 for Trump, and he's had 60 Minutes. Apparently, we're going to have to look at it for the next 2.5 years.
Right.
But with this session, he said the Southern Poverty Law Senator is at the heart of Charlottesville, the King's March, the St. I thought he was going to say the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. But he's attacked the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Right.
That's Project 2025. They want to disenfranchise Black American voters in this year, 2025, if you can believe that. And the Supreme Court helped them this week.
Yes, they did.
They certainly did. And it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But he owns the station now. I mean, Ellison owns the station. In fact, Ellison's are going to buy all the stations, so we're going to have Trump probably at every station. But what the point is, what he says is so out of the. It doesn't have any basis in reality, and how they can sit there and listen to it. It's amazing to me.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind too, Jim. I mean, I sit there sometime, and they before I came in, we were talking about the May Day protests, and then they had some trumpets speaking down in Florida or somewhere, some seniors and everything, and they talked to people in the line, and the people were just so blew my mind how they were just going along with everything, and the reporter asked them, say, well, are you paying more for gas today? They say, yeah, but I don't care. I trust Trump. Really? So
but I mean, but he's so. First of all, he's 80 years old, and nobody can tell me that this is extemporaneously coming out of his mind. He's being fed this by whomever.
Steve Miller.
Yeah, it's got to be somebody. But it's so absurd. And now, if this would have happened 50 years ago, or 20, and he started talking this insane, it'd be all over the front pages.
Well, you see what did he say about Joe Biden? Sleepy Joe. So who is it? Is it now dozing Donnie? You know what I'm saying? I've seen him dozing off. I've seen him ranting, incoherent. It's outrageous what the American people have to put up with. And fortunately, we're not putting up with it. We're not taking it, Jim. That's at least what I'm seeing.
No. Well, you got to be crazy. But there's any strategy for the war. I've got it in my head. In other words, there's no input from anybody. He doesn't realize that our allies don't even want to go near the Strait of Hormuz with a 10-foot pole.
And they don't want to come near him. They do it because they have to. The king came and just kind of like placated him and kissed him and everything and hugged up and Yohnka and the queen. It's just such a
bunch of baloney. It's a bunch of absolute insanity. But to watch it, Ricky. Anyway, you have a good show.
All right, I appreciate you, Jim. And listen, I want you to keep on. You got to laugh it off, man. We got to laugh it off. We know it's serious, and we know we got a battle on our hands. But let's don't let him drive us as crazy as he's become, okay?
Okay. Believe it. All right, Ricky, take care.
All right, you made started off made my day already. I saw a poll today, Lady B. Trump's favorability is 34%. 34%. 67% of the people in the United States of America, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Progressive, Conservative, whatever, are like, hell no. Think about it. I mean, 34% for a sitting president. I was in politics. I was a state senator. If you drop under 50, you're in deep trouble. And you're an incumbent. You don't want to drop under 60, really. You live with, 55. 34? He is in the toilet. And it's not just this war. It's everything he does. Let's go to Dave in Hoffman and see what he's got to say. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Rick.
Welcome to the Joan Esposito Show.
Thanks. Great to hear you again.
Hey, it's great to be heard, man. Above ground and feeling good.
Good. Yeah, talking about that 34%, but remember all along they've always said he's either 35% that will go follow him to the gates of hell.
Yeah, and that's where they're headed too, right? With gasoline draws on. Speaking of gas, oh my God. Speaking of gas, I have to get gas on the way back from the studio because gas was so high around my house. I was like, well, I'll see it lower. I did not see it lower. Regular gas in Chicago is $5.99.9, which is $6. And I told someone, I put it on Facebook. Okay, you got me. Why did you get me started on this gas? Okay, I'm going to come back to you, but I got to get this out of my system. I have to.
Okay.
I put it on Facebook about 3 weeks ago when gas hit $4 and some change. And I'm telling you, Verlon, I hope he's brave enough to call in. Willie Love, I hope you're brave enough to call in. Brian, I hope you're brave enough to call in. All you Republican, I won't call you out your name, but you know what you are. Call in because they jumped me, man. They jumped me. Oh, you're just exaggerating. Oh, you're da-da-da-da. I said, okay, watch. It's going to get from $4.99, which it was when I posted that, to $6, because, the 99.9 is just a game they play with our minds.
Yeah.
And now it's $6. Today, I saw $5.99 for a regular. Thank God I don't have to get premium.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, Dave.
I hear you.
I got my rant out about the gas, because I had to.
No. That yesterday or so, I seen this guy. He was delivering the beer to the liquor store and that, and he said that he has a big Silverado.
Ooh.
And he went the other day and he said that named off some station where they got he could get 17 cents off or something, but he said it costed him $75 to fill that tank.
Man. Yeah. It cost me 50 something the other day, and I'm like, you know what? This is crazy. But go ahead.
Yeah,
and think about that. Not to cut you off, but think about the Uber drivers and the food delivery people and the people who move goods from store to store. And people say, well, it's just gas. But no, I was in the market the other day because I go from one to another. I don't just go to one. I'll shop around. Everywhere I went, steak was through the roof. I got one little bitty piece of steak after shopping around. Didn't get the cut I wanted, but these days you got to do what you got to do. One piece steak was $7.89.
Did you buy one of them Trump steaks or what?
Oh no, I wouldn't eat a Trump nothing. I wouldn't lick a Trump sucker. I wouldn't open a Trump Bible, okay? But Trump's name should have been stamped on that steak because it was $7.89 and it was just enough for one person.
Wow.
And I remember going to that same market and seeing the whole pack of steak with 2 or 3 of them in there for $9.
Wow.
$7.89 for one little piece. That was it.
And the last one, before the gas really started getting up there, I was talking at the station one day with this one guy. He must have had a part-time job as a security dude because I was teasing him about pouring liquid gold in it. And he says, well, he also drives diesel trucks.
Oh, my God. Oh,
and he said,
my
this
goodness.
was almost about 2 weeks ago, and he said it costed him $900 to top that thing up.
Yeah, because that is through the roof. To put the gas up a diesel truck, diesel, that gas is crazy.
Yeah, because it said it's about 130 gallons or so to fill.
Now, what's going to happen when the farmers can't plant because they don't have the fertilizer to grow the food? Then all the food prices of all the food is going to go up.
Yep.
All the food is going to go up. Everything is higher, and Trump keeps lying, and Vance keeps lying, and Lutnick. Oh my God, I can't stand him.
Hey, Ricky, and the thing today though about that, where he was supposed to do that 60-day war resolution. Well, this slick bastard went and he sent letters to Congress arguing hostilities in Iran have terminated.
Yeah, there's no fighting going on. Our boys are dying. Our people are being injured and wounded and killed. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. We got a blockade outside their blockade. So Trump doubled down on the strait that he wanted open. Now he's helping close.
Yeah, because he said it terminated now. He's got a new 60-day clock if they start up again with hostilities.
Wow.
Like
yeah, because I heard him say that the ceasefire stopped the clock. You know, time keeps on ticking. Okay, yeah, but nobody says we keep getting older. Time keeps ticking. Monday becomes Sunday. Tuesday, Wednesday. It's the way it is. So, the Constitution says he has to get the approval of Congress. So he's saying bunk Congress. He don't care what they think. Right. He's going to come up with a well-rounded and do whatever he wants to do. So he's thumbing his thumb up in the faces of the Congress and the American people.
Yeah, hey, Ricky, and then last time we had something like that, and it was on today's date back in 2003 when George W. Bush declared that major combat operations in Iraq have ended. In that speech, remember when he went aboard that Abraham Lincoln?
And how many more years after that was it before it actually ended?
And on a good note, on this date back in 2011 is when SEAL Team 6 got Osama bin Laden.
Okay.
And over there was May 2nd, you know, because of the time thing, but it was May 1st when they got him and that. And lastly, Ricky.
Well, listen, my friend, I appreciate you calling in. I know Joan has a great show and there's many callers. I'm just going to try to expand it a little bit and double dog dare some Republicans to call in to WCPT. I know you're scared. I know they're scared, Dave. They're scared that you might call back and check them. And if they do, you call back and you check them, okay?
Well, there's others that got a lot smarter. You know, they can, get some, some talk time. I don't like to glom all the time.
No,
you good. Don't mind it, but
you're good. I'm not here an hour today. I'm here for 3 hours, bro. So don't even worry about it.
Well, let me get off so others can do that. I always like to hear, other stuff.
Appreciate the call. All right, we're going to hear from other people, just like your suggestion. All right, Lady B. Okay, you can give us a call, 773-763-9278. It's over there. It's in my head, though. You know what I'm saying? But I like to look at it and make sure I got it right. 773-763-9278. Give us a call on WCPT and join the conversation. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not necessarily agree with you, but we want to have the conversation. And I did ask some of my Republicans that I'm still talking to call in. Told them I'd be on there. Oh, yeah, I'm going to call. But no, they Facebook cowards. You know what I'm saying? They'll post something on Facebook. Oh, we love Trump, especially the black ones. I can't wait till we got a guest coming in. We have two, but I can't wait to ask them about the mentality of the black man. I honestly want after everything is over, to have the brain of a black Republican, examined. What's going on up there? A black Republican that, just have the scientists take the brain, put them in a lab, put them in some boiling water or something, you know what I'm saying? And take a look, because to me, they're crazy. How can you support somebody that's doing everything that they possibly can to tear you down and tear your people down, tear your culture down?
But a lot of them think it won't affect them.
Maybe that's it. Black, brown, and out. I started shooting white folks in Minnesota, so nobody is safe under the Trump regime. Nobody. And I know some people say because what's happening with Comer and others, you got to watch what you say, or they're gonna get you. I don't care. I really don't care. Our freedom, our independence, our democracy demands that we stand up and fight, demands that we say something, demands that we come out and vote. It's just what the Supreme Court did this week, I wasn't surprised at all. Not at all. And Clarence Thomas, the number one up there, they got his black face. They put his black face out there and like, oh, this is fair. It ain't fair. It's never been fair. All right, let's go to Ed, and we're gonna keep the lines rolling. Y'all just call me. Call me. We can get in conversation today. Hey Ed, welcome to Joan's show. It's Rickey Hendon sitting in for Joan Esposito.
Hey Ricky, I'm so glad you're on and putting out your exuberance over this fiasco. Number one, Ricky, Obama and John Kerry put together a very solid deal with Iran regarding nuclear power.
Right.
What does Trump do when he comes in? He tears it up for no reason.
Tears it up for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the reason he did it, just like he went after Obamacare, because Obama did it.
Exactly.
He wanted to take credit. He didn't want especially a black president, and Biden either, white president, any Democrat, to have credit for anything good they did. So he tore it up, and now we're at war.
Yeah. And he said, okay, in June, they bombed Iran. Supposedly they got rid of any nuclear threat. True. This was in June. So what is he coming out now when he did the 28th attacking them with no approval from Congress or no one else?
No discussion.
Exactly. And started this thing. And look at the mess this has created. I mean, people in this country, Ricky, should be marching on Mar-a-Lago and demand, come out of there, and we're going to take you and deport you because you're ruining this country.
Well, you know, they're too scared. They're too scared to march. If they march on Mar-a-Lago, some people going to die. I'm just going to tell you like it is, because that's messing with his money. You see, people like Trump, you gotta mess with their money. You see what Elon Musk did when we started protesting Tesla. He's like, let me get on out of here because we were messing with his money. Okay,
exactly.
But you're absolutely right, and we're in this war of his choice. And he didn't tell our allies to get their advice, and now he's calling them cowards for not helping him. They're like, you didn't ask me, you didn't talk to me before you did it. Now all of a sudden you need me, and all he's done is insult them, call them out their name. The sad thing to me, Ed, is this becoming normal in American politics now? That the president could just cuss, the president could just say anything and call people out their name and act like an 8-year-old? Is this where we're at?
Travesty. Total travesty with him being in there, and we have what? A little over 2.5 years to go with him.
Unless they impeach him. Unless they impeach him, because I believe, now I'm going to step way out here, but this is what I believe in my spirit. I believe the Democratic Party, the Democrats are going to take the House and the Senate. And the Senate. I got something from a guy running in Kansas. I can't call his name right now. A preacher from Kansas. He's leading in the polls. Okay, in a Senate race in Kansas. People all over America, Trump is at 34%. People all over America is tired of this mess.
Yes.
I saw some numbers before I came in, Ed. Do you know white women voted overwhelmingly for Trump?
I heard that.
A lot of black men voted for Trump. Latinos voted for Trump. And guess what he did to them?
Yeah.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! If a Latino tell me they vote for Trump, my problem right now, I haven't heard any Latinos anymore saying they vote for Trump, but I still heard some Negroes.
Yeah.
I didn't use the N-word. Because I know we on the radio. Lady B know who I heard from.
Sure.
Still, I love Master Trump. And I dared him to call in today. Call in with your coward self. You call me, text me this mess, put it on Facebook. They know I'm on the air today. I bet you they don't call in. Verlon, where you at, coward?
Yeah.
Where you at?
Ricky, what is the logic of a black man voting for Trump when his history shows with his father when he refused to rent.
Wouldn't rent an apartment to him.
Right.
Had a college. Y'all done forgot about Trump College that folded because the kids wasn't getting their classes and getting their work and their books and stuff. He had to close the college, the university. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's outrageous. And the Christians. Oh, my goodness, golly, Molly. Holy Lord, bless me. Holy Lord, help me. The Christians that tell me that they still like Trump after he put a portrait out of himself as Jesus.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Before that, he put his picture in the Bible.
Yeah.
There's a Bible called a Trump Bible with Donald Trump's picture in it and the Constitution of the United States as if the Bible was only written for Americans. It was only, I don't understand them Southern Christians that's still with this man. How?
Really? Ricky, what do you think of him wanting to put his picture on passports now?
Oh, my God.
Is that insane?
I've got to take a break, but yes, it is absolutely insane. You call me later, or you can call me back, or hold on, I don't care, but I got to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Joan Esposito Show. Don't go nowhere.
Whoa there. Where do you think you two are going? This is a union-only job site.
Hi, we're from ABOC, a leading business and labor union bank founded over 100 years ago in Chicago.
Good to know. We only let union members on this site.
ABOC was founded by labor union members. We have union leaders on our board and union employees to this day.
Okay, you've got my attention.
As you know, labor union banking requires experience and expertise.
Tell me about it.
Hi there. Labor unions get the advantage of our oversight and regulatory experience.
Get to the good part.
Hundreds of labor unions trust ABOC for their banking, including treasury management, investments, and construction loans like this one.
You worked on this job?
We sure did.
Just ask your boss.
Okay. Why didn't you say so? Come on in.
Thanks.
Hey, don't forget your hard hats.
Trust ABOC, the bank for labor unions.
Hey, learn more at ABOC.com. ABOC is the brand name for Amalgamated Bank of Chicago. Member, FDIC.
Spring is here and summer heat is right around the corner. Is your home ready to stay cool and energy efficient? At Green Attic, they help Chicagoland homeowners prepare their homes for rising temperatures. With over 15 years of experience and more than 1,000 five-star reviews, Green Attic is a trusted expert in attic insulation, blow-in cellulose, spray foam, crawl space encapsulation, mold remediation, and solar attic fan installation. When the sun heats up your attic, that trapped heat can force your air conditioner to work overtime. Proper insulation and ventilation helps keep your home cooler and lowers your energy bills. Green Attic also offers full-service roofing through Green Attic Roofing, including asphalt shingles, flat roofs, Da Vinci, Brava, Cedar, Tesla solar roof, and solar panels options, all backed by the industry's 10-year labor warranty. Spring is the perfect time to fix insulation problems and aging roofs before the summer heat and storm season arrive. Schedule your free insulation consultation today at greenattic.com or get an instant roofing estimate at greenatticroofing.com. Green Attic, healthy home, happy family.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. A few spotty rain showers at times this afternoon with partial sunshine developing and a high around 50 degrees. Winds out of the north around 5 to 10 miles per hour, gusting as high as 20. And then for tonight, partly cloudy skies develop low near 35. By Saturday, mostly sunny, high 54 degrees. And on Sunday, we'll have a slight chance for some rain showers, cloudy, high around 64. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 45.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Now back to Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT 820.
All right. We are back. We're going to go back with Ed so we can finish up our conversation. Then, Peter, I'm going to come straight to you. All right, Ed, sorry about that. I had a break there, my friend.
I understand. Also, we didn't even touch on the Epstein files.
Oh, my goodness. I'm glad you. That's why I'm glad you brought it up. Did you hear the latest?
Go ahead. What's that now?
The young lady who grew up with, kind of grew up as young women with Melania Trump, came out and said she gonna spill the beans on everybody because her husband or the guy she had hooked up with, had a baby with, called a favor in to ICE and had her deported.
Wow.
So he kept the kid, had her deported. She's trying to get her baby back, as most mothers will. And she said she's going to tell everything she knows. And that's why Melania came out with that preemptive, I did not know Epstein. We got pictures of you.
Yeah. I don't know how they could be so defiant and blatantly lie like that, but I believe it's going to come back and bite them.
It is.
Once this all comes out.
It is. I appreciate your call. And you mentioned Pete Hempstead. I can't stand him.
Likewise.
He just lies. He's the one who came up with yesterday that the ceasefire meant the 60-day clock was stopped. And Trump has more time to wage this war of his choice. Oh, by the way, of which we spent well over $50 bazillion on. Not no $25 billion. It's $50 billion or more. For what?
Right. Where are we at now? We're nowhere,
We're paying $6 a gallon for gas. That's where we're at now. We're paying $7.89 for one little piece of steak. That's where we are now.
Right. And it's not ending. I mean, he keeps saying, you're making me an offer, but it's not good enough.
It's good enough because they're not giving him enough money. Remember, and I heard that the Arab nation, they gave him that plane. Remember that airplane?
Yes.
$400 million plane. That's another fiasco. The list goes on and on and on. We've never seen this level of corruption before in our lives.
Never. Yep.
Pray to God we never will again. Thank you for your call. All right. Let's go to Peter on line 1. Hello, Peter. Hey. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Ricky. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you for the wait. I know it was a little long wait, but we had to take that break. But go right ahead. I hear you fine.
Cool. Well, glad I got on. And I don't know how many ears my message will land on, but I just wanted to get this message out. I know we're all feeling the pinch because the orange pedo closed off the Strait of Hormuz with this stupid war. But we have a way to take matters into our own hands when it comes to gas prices. First off, I know a lot of people in this country like to drive like their Chevy Tahoes, Ford Explorers, and other SUVs. Well, a lot of them are flex fuel vehicles, so if you can fuel with E85, you can save yourself a ton of money. Now, gas is like $4.50, $5 a gallon, and maybe higher in some places of Chicago. But I'm seeing a lot more fuel stations putting in E85 pumps.
Well, let's talk about the E85 real quick, and reason why I think some people haven't switched to it. Okay, because some vehicles, of course, can't use it. The newer models can, but a lot of people don't have no new car. We still driving an old car. And if you put the wrong gas in it, it might not even work. So people are afraid, is E85 watered down gas? Will you get less mileage because of it? What's your take on that?
Well, here's the thing. There are plenty of used vehicles that are recent year models that you can actually buy that are capable of using it. Now, I drive a 2014 Ford Focus, right?
Okay.
The other day I paid $2.50 a gallon. And, because it's just a 4-cylinder engine, it's got, direct fuel injection, variable valve timing, I'm still able to get, 25, 30 miles to the gallon with it. So that's pretty decent, And the nice thing is, too, because it emits less carbon when it's burned, there's less carbon buildup inside the engine, so your engine will last longer.
Well, that's good.
There are plenty of upsides to use it.
That's good, and I know it is less. I know it's cheaper. I'm just trying to pry at Lady B, why some people don't like it or haven't switched to it. Did you have an opinion on it, Lady B?
Yes, but I started noticing that a lot of gas stations are starting to put a lot of E85s, but before it was you couldn't find it.
Okay.
And if you put the wrong gas on that car, there goes your motor.
That's I think it's part of the fear.
Yeah.
People like, is this going to affect my motor? Is this going to, will I get the gas mileage, Peter, that you're getting? you know, because it's I shouldn't say watered down gas, but what is it? Corn.
I think it is corn.
Ethanol put in there, and some people just don't trust it, I believe. Now, did you hear that over in Europe, the need and the desire for electric vehicles has skyrocketed through the roof?
I'm quite aware of that. And also, that's another part of the thing I wanted to reach out to. I know a lot of people are thinking, I don't know if I should get an EV. Can I afford it right now? I hear they're expensive. Well, here's the thing. The EV market is flooded with gently used, previously leased electric vehicles. And because they depreciate faster than gas-powered vehicles, you can get one for a steal. Like, I'm seeing a lot of, like, Chevy Bolts that you can get for, like, around $15,000, $17,000, you know? I mean, like, if your car's on its way out, I think it makes sense to trade up and get a gently used EV, you know? I mean, you should think about it, too. Not only are you going to be saving a ton of money on fuel, but the vehicle can also serve as a backup battery for a house. Like, in the event the power goes out, you know, like during a storm, your basement's flooding, and you need power for your sump pump, well, you can plug the sump pump into your car and keep your basement from flooding.
Well, see, now, but here's another issue. A lot of gas stations don't have the charging station for the electric vehicle. And when you see the next charging station is 100 miles away, you know, you're on the highway, you know what I'm saying? You're like, well, no. You know, so I hope we get to there. I hope we get to there, especially for the environmental reasons. But right now, Peter, I think people they're desperate to stay in the little car they got. They stuck with these high prices. They're going to try to, I've heard people say they're just going to drive less. They're just going to drive less. But that's not always an option either. Because if you drive, I don't live close to WCPT. So, I don't know. We're jammed either way, but that's a great suggestion about the E85 and the electric vehicles. Hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, I have noticed more charging stations are popping up. They're usually like in parking lots for like strip malls and stuff like that now. I mean, they don't take up as much space as gas stations do, so you can put them up pretty much anywhere. And
Right.
if you have a garage, plug it in overnight. So.
Well, you know, I saw today also that the oil companies are making a whopping profit this year, $92 billion.
Yeah.
$92 billion. They love this war. They love this war. They are making a killing because what they're doing, even though the gas may cost them a little more, they charge that to us and then putting a little more on top of that. And now it's $6 a gallon.
Yeah.
In Chicago. Worse in Jersey, worse in California. It depends on where you're living. I had one Republican friend, we're paying a little less down here in Tennessee. Well, keep your butt in Tennessee then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Gas prices are up everywhere. Let's be real.
Absolutely everywhere. Well, we appreciate your call. You have another subject or you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. I make sure you gas up today because, you know, come Monday, it's going to go up again. 20 cents. Okay? Rickey Hendon said it. 20 cents come Monday. On my way back to my home, I'm getting a full tank at $5.99. I'm going to just bite the bullet and do it. Thank you for your call. Well, these gas prices just, I don't know. You know what I ask? How high do they have to get before his staunch supporters even start saying
enough?
$7 a gallon, $8 a gallon.
It's a lot.
It's the highest it's been.
Yeah.
Just about ever. And remember when Trump first came in, he was beating up Biden over $3 gallon.
Exactly.
Gas.
I haven't heard anything from them.
Oh, no. I'm surprised Biden not slapping back right now.
Right.
If I was Biden, I'd be slapping back. I saw Obama smack him a little bit, but I guess everybody's scared. I think a lot of people are honestly scared. You see all these scientists done disappeared.
Yes.
And we're not even really talking about that. But when you have 10, 12 scientists in the same area of research, all nuclear weapons, all extraterrestrial, half of them done killed themselves, and half of them disappeared while on a jog or on a walk through the. Come on, man. Something is going on. And I heard that at least one of them, was affiliated with one of Epstein's boys. So who wants our nuclear secrets? Who is it? When this comes out, I'm going to see what Trump has to say then. Because this is big, Lady B. They asked Trump about it. He said, oh, well, we'll do it. We're doing it. Like he didn't know nothing about it. Then he said, well, we're going to investigate. How many people have to die in a certain restaurant before you say something might be wrong with the food? Mm-hmm. You know? How many people from the same category have to disappear before you say something is up? Another one, I think number 12, who put out a video saying, I am not suicidal. I love life. I want to be here. What's the report? He killed himself. Yeah, okay. I don't believe he killed himself at all. The lady, a young lady, did a video. She said, hey, everybody, I'm fine. I'm not suicidal. Something's going on. Trying to get my hands around it. I can't quite figure out what's going on, but somebody's tracking me or something. But believe me, I'm good. I'm not depressed or nothing like that. What happened? Oh, she killed herself. End of investigation. 12 American scientists, all dealing with nuclear weapons or extraterrestrial life from outer space, died or disappeared. The ones who disappeared are even more scary than the ones who passed and had funerals. You don't know where the ones who disappeared are. I bet you they're not sitting with no friendly country, somebody that love us. Maybe somebody who faked that they love us, like Netanyahu, who does not love us. He don't even love his own people. He love money. I said it. I ain't backing down from it. Let's go to Roosevelt. Hey, Roosevelt, welcome to the Joan Esposito Show. What's on your mind today, my friend?
My brother, Rickey Hendon.
What's up?
Thank you for taking my call, my friend.
Oh, always.
You at the beginning of the show, you and Lady B reminded me of McFadden and Whitehead. Ain't no stopping us now.
Ain't no stopping us now. I'm with that. And you know why? I'm going to just say this, and you go ahead. The reason why there's no stopping up me now, no stopping Lady B, some of us really believe in the American dream. Some of us really believe in the Constitution. Some of us really believe that this is the greatest country in the world. I believe that. But somewhere along the line, I put on my Facebook, there are consequences to not voting. It's not that the majority of Americans voted for Trump. The majority of Americans did not vote.
Yep. And the majority of what, 5 million of Democrats didn't get up and vote for the lady? You know, that's another factor. But, Rick, I want to add to what you just said. Yeah. Some of us believe in democracy in the U.S., good old USA. But let me tell you why I'm calling you. I'm calling you because the young MAGAs are abandoning him. I made a little list here. Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Ricky. Alex Jones is asking for the 25th Amendment.
Right.
Because the guy is nuts. The guy is out of his gore. His own niece said it. Remember his niece? I think it's a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or whatever.
She said he's crazy. She said he was crazy.
He's crazy. Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was the biggest Trump MAGA there is.
Tucker.
Remember she went up against Biden at one of Biden's address the nation speeches?
Right.
So they're abandoning him, Ricky. Not only his numbers are low, he's affecting everybody, whether you're Republican, conservative, because
Tucker Carlson has been tearing him up.
Yeah. So that's where I was heading. Now, as far as what you mentioned about the secrets, he had 5 meetings with Putin, including one in Alaska. In
Alaska.
USA. Yeah,
Right.
USA. Remember one of our kids unrolling the red carpet with Putin? That looks horrible. And that's just it. He's a Putin puppet.
But here's the thing, Roosevelt. Here's the thing, and I want all the listeners of WCPT, your friends, anybody they could share with, to just think about this one thing. It was widely reported that Putin and Russia was giving Iran locations of our troops, where our soldiers were, so that they could be killed and attacked by Iran.
Yep.
At the same time, Trump took the tariffs off of off of Russian oil and off of Iranian oil. So Putin is making a killing on this war because Trump lifted the tariffs on Russian oil while Russia was helping Iran kill Americans. In addition to that, Iran can shoot every missile they have. They ain't never going to run out because guess what? China and Russia are resupplying them. Giving them more weapons, giving them more missiles, giving them more air defense, giving them information about where our soldiers, our brave men and women are. But Trump wants to kiss up to him and play lover with him. I don't get it. Do you get it?
Yes, I do. Let me tell you why.
Explain it to me.
Okay, because Russia has something over him. Remember I think it was Junior or Eric Trump? They had said way back when that they were taking money from Russia, loans from Russia, because the U.S. banks would not lend them any money. So they got some things over on this guy. That's why he's afraid of Putin. Now, you mentioned something very interesting along with the gentleman that said the treaty that Obama had. He's got to put his name on everything, Ricky.
Right.
Remember that, especially
everything.
Especially, look what he's doing to the White House.
He done knocked down the East Wing.
Yeah.
The man done knocked down the East Wing. He wants to build this big ballroom and use that fake assassination the other day to promote his ballroom.
Bingo.
The man said, this is why we need the ballroom. Because somebody can... Listen, the assassin never got near Trump. The security just let him walk right in. His brother had reported him 2 days ago, told him what was going on, and they couldn't go to the dude's house and stop him. They couldn't catch him out when he first got off the plane or the bus or whatever, because he had to get to Washington from California. If you knew ahead of time, it all looked staged to me. I mean, I'm not saying that they planned the whole thing, but if you know about it and you let it happen.
Hey, I'm going to add to that, Ricky. Two reporters. I saw the video, very short, 30 seconds. They're laughing it off, saying that there was such low security.
Fox News. They were Fox News reporters. I saw it too, with that hot mic, they call it. When the mic was on and they didn't know it, and they was like, man, you could have walked in here easy. Wasn't no security. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, it was funny. Come on, man. The American people are just, I don't believe we're that stupid. Some of us can be duped. The man is a master con artist. I get it. But at some point, the con ain't supposed to work no more. I've had scammers call me. I had one lady and Roosevelt had me thinking they was finna turn my lights off. I'm trying to remember that I paid a light bill, because some of these scammers, they target the senior citizens. I'm still sharp, but, they got a list. They look at your age and they say, let's try this person. Or now they're even getting younger people. Now a lot of these scammers are getting younger people. That's the newest thing. But they actually had me. They actually had me afraid and nervous. So guess what I did, Lady B? But my mind clicked in and said, I'm not going to follow their instructions, which was go get this iTunes phone, its card, and send it to somebody. I went straight to and paid my light bill to the ComEd. You know what I'm saying? Then I called them back. I kept them on phone about 2 hours. Just, I'm not sure what to do. And finally, they put the supervisor on there, and he was like, y'all, say, you don't even speak English. Where you from? They hung up on me. But the con don't always, she can keep working. That's all I'm saying. They had me for a minute. The con ain't working no more. Go ahead, Roosevelt.
Yeah, but you mentioned something about the farmers. But let me tell you, they voted for him 3 times, Ricky, the white farmers. But you know what you didn't mention? The black farmers. They're going off on the white farmers because they don't get those subsidies that the white farmers get.
Right.
And they don't get, and when this guy pays them off and buys them off because over his tariffs, that's our money, Ricky.
But see, here, let me add something else to that I want people to understand. I came from Alabama, from down south. Farmers have a lot of pride.
Yep.
Them people getting out there 14 hours a day, tilling the soil, putting the seeds down, taking care of the cattle and the cows in the mud and slopping the hogs and all those people have a lot of pride. They don't just want no government handout and get the blacks out and get the Latinos out and divide up the white folks. But here's what they're missing, my friend. White people is pissed at Trump. White people ain't taking this Republican crap no more. White people are not as racist as they used to be. Hello? And I had to tell some of my black friends that. I don't care what you think. They not. These are not the old days, especially among the younger generation. My son Ricky hang out with every nationality in the world, and they all get drunk together. Holla back. All right, Roosevelt, thank you for your call. Oh, Lady Ann. All right, let's go to Keaton on line 2. Keaton.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, Ricky.
Hey, welcome to the show.
From you, man. Last time I talked to you, there was the last show on the Saturday.
Okay. Well,
it's good hearing your voice,
I'm going to be here whenever they want me here. I will be here because I think that I'm called to do this work.
Yeah, say hi to the junior and senior, and let me get to my point.
Go right ahead. You got time.
You ever heard the word? You ever heard the term "we not going"?
Yes.
That's gonna come back. You know that term is universal. We're not. Nobody. That term is saying we are not going.
Well, on the West Side, we just say we ain't going.
We ain't going.
We ain't going.
After this verdict that Uncle Thomas helped
Tom. Supreme Court Justice, I don't care. Tom.
Uncle Thomas. You know, you've been that man for the longest with your
the wife,
tyrant wife,
and the wife helped fund January 6th, and nothing happened to her.
That was her thing. Everybody knows everything, but we're not going anymore. Poor white people who now this is happening to you Europeans and you refugees and from your war-torn countries and your so-called and this is not my word. This is from the president. Hellhole countries. Now that you're over here, you see the good life. And you voted for this knucklehead.
Yeah, listen, Trump called him stupid, and they still voted. They still support him.
You got to live the good life. You got to go to Disney World, and yet you saw this coming. You ran from this out of your own country. You black people saw this for years. They told their kids don't walk down the street because in my day you can be walking down the street and they will throw something out their car and holler the N-word at you without even thinking
about it. They didn't even think about it. They didn't even think about it. But times have changed. And like you said, we ain't going.
We are not going. But I grew up with gangs. Gangs were going through what ICE is putting Latino sisters and brothers through, and the Europeans and Africans and Jamaicans and Haitians and whoever else color that they call. And when they was doing it to them, they came to us, and we wasn't going.
Yeah,
but now the white people. Now white people are getting it done to them.
I think we're up against the clock, 3 o'clock, but I think that once they kill Renee Good and the young man in Minnesota, who is as white as you can get, that turned the tide. We ain't going. Thank you for your call.
We ain't going.
We're going to up against, I think, the 3 o'clock news, Lady B, and we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
I've tried everything to stand out at work. Donuts, a company coffee blend, even dressed as the company mascot for Halloween.
There's an easier way, a ComEd facility assessment. Their engineer gave my company free insights and actions that saved us $732,000 on energy. Easy, right?
Learn how ComEd can help you save at ComEd.com/facility assessment. ComEd, powering lives. Savings will vary based on customers' usage and rate.
Margaret is a 71-year-old widow who came to Brookfield Tax Planning because she was worried her accountant and financial advisor weren't doing enough to reduce her taxes. During their free, no-obligation tax reduction review, it was revealed that Margaret had been overpaying $7,250 each year since her husband passed. $102,000 lost forever due to a lack of proactive tax planning. Her accountant does returns after the year is over when it's too late. Her advisor handles her investments but doesn't reduce her taxes. Once the year ends, tax reduction options shrink to almost nothing. Retirees and business owners should plan ahead now using legal proactive strategies to slash taxes. Stop overpaying. 94% of Brookfield's new clients are shocked that they've been paying too much every year. Call Brookfield Tax Planning at 708-485-3439 or visit BrookfieldTaxPlanning.com for your free review. You have nothing to lose. That's BrookfieldTaxPlanning.com.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. Iran has submitted a new plan to end the war. President Trump says they are asking for things he can't agree to.
They want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it, so we'll see what happens. Iran wants to make a deal because they have no military left, essentially, and they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it.
Iran state media reports an explosion of leftover bombs from strikes during the war against Iran killed 14 members of the Revolutionary Guard. The White House is telling Congress hostilities with Iran have terminated, despite the continued presence of U.S. forces in the region. Here's the AP's Sagar Magani.
The letter from President Trump effectively skirts today's legal deadline for gaining approval from lawmakers to continue the war. The War Powers Resolution of 1973 says Congress must either declare war or authorize force within 60 days of fighting starting. The Trump administration has shown no interest in seeking approval.
Because it's never been sought before. There's been many times, and nobody's ever gotten it before. They consider it totally unconstitutional.
The administration contends the war effectively ended when a ceasefire started 3 weeks ago. But even as the president made clear in his letter, the war may actually be far from over. Republican lawmakers deferred to him in letting today's deadline pass. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Oil prices are slightly lower. Her foundation says Iran's imprisoned Nobel Peace Prize laureate Narges Mohammadi has been urgently transferred to a hospital after a severe health decline. A man who led Kentucky police on a high-speed chase has been charged in a deadly bank robbery that left 2 people dead. President Trump is increasing an EU tariff on cars and trucks, accusing it of not complying with a trade deal. This is AP News. At a time when home ownership is impossible for more and more Americans, Habitat for Humanity is going strong.
In Habitat for Humanity's 50th year, they're bringing the Carter Work Project back to Atlanta, the intensive week-long building project named after former President Jimmy Carter and wife Rosalind. Workers are spackling drywall and mixing compound at Oswaldo Herrera's new home.
It's been a tough couple years with how things are, but having this security of
gives me that foundation to really shoot for the stars.
Rosalind Merrick is CEO of Atlanta Habitat for Humanity.
An affordable single-family home would be about $300,000, but the problem is that with most incomes, one can't afford a house at that level.
24 homes are being built for about $200,000 each. Families pay based on their income on a 30-year mortgage at no interest. I'm Donna Warder.
I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. A couple of patchy showers early tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Areas of frost developing in the suburbs. We'll see a low temperature of 36 degrees with northeast winds at 5 to 10. Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature around 47 degrees. Sunday, cloudy with some hit-and-miss showers around and a high temperature of 64. Monday, chance of showers and storms with a high temperature around 73 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 46.
The Thom Hartmann radio program provides all of the intelligence, information, and insight you'll need to win the water cooler wars. Weekdays 11 to 2 right here on WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Local and progressive.
Joan, as always, exceptional work from you from, your TV days all the way up to today. You're truly exceptional, and thanks for this great show you have.
It's time for Joan Esposito on WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk.
All right. Welcome back. I didn't know we were back that fast. It's a little new to me. You all haven't done Joan's show before. We have a guest coming online on the Zoom. With modern technology, so he's not here in the studio. Dante King, is he? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Professor?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, Professor. All right. Yeah, I'm sitting in for Joan today, and I'm so glad to have you here. I was reading about you. You're a very interesting person. I decided I have to ask you. I'm going to ask you a question after we get into it a little bit about the mind of a black man. Dante King, he's a university professor, a speaker, and human resource management consultant. He's also an author of 3 books, including his new release, the 2026 release, The Psychopathy of Whiteness. And he has 2 other books, the Epigenetics of Anti-Blackness and Malignant Narcissism and Collective Antisocial Personality Disorder. What's up, bro?
Hey there, how's it going?
Hey, I'm from the West Side. I had to let me get with my man because he's got the brains that we need. Listen, welcome to the show. Joan is on a little vacation break, and also I'm Senator Rickey Hendon, retired state senator, and I'm just glad to have you on. They gave me a lot of things for us to talk about, but first let's talk about your books real quick. The one, especially the one you just released, and then we'll get into the subject matter. How can we do that?
For sure. Thank you. So I'm glad to be here. As you mentioned, I've authored 3 books. The first one was The 400-Year Holocaust, White America's Legal, Psychopathic, and Sociopathic Black Genocide, and the Revolt Against Critical Race Theory. The second one was titled Diagnosing Whiteness and Anti-Blackness. In the third one, as you mentioned, is The Psychopathy of Whiteness. So a lot of my work has been in researching and analyzing historical law, particularly looking back through the colonial period into the formation of the United States, understanding that race was constructed not just socially, but it was constructed methodically, politically, and legally. So when we think about the white race, we typically think about, this is a group of people who identify racially and who have evolved over time, but we don't really think about the nuances of whiteness. That, for example, let's say back in the 18th century, Germans weren't considered white. If you go back to the 19th century, And there's a very famous statement by one of the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, about German people who were, as he put it, invading the state, the colony of Pennsylvania. And he felt that they would kind of engulf the civilization as aliens, unassimilable aliens. The same language that was used about Chinese people in the 20th century.
Right.
But, so you've got those types of developments that are happening. And that's true for Irish people. It's true for Italian people. At one point, these groups were not considered white. And so this development of a racial group based on a lack of an ability to produce high quantities of melanin and to ascribe this characterization of this color concept because of what it meant in European culture, that it was, represented things that were close to God, that were pure. It must be understood as a political organization. And it evolved as a juxtaposition to this group that they were calling Negro, which in the English language meant Black. And so the moniker of Black or Blackness that was bestowed upon African people was bestowed upon African people for their debasement, for their political debasement, social debasement, cultural debasement, all of it. And so when we deal with or contend with how race functions in this society, everything that it really becomes associated with Blackness or a Black person is seen derogatorily. And there's no matter what you do, no matter what your status
right.
is, no matter how much money you make, you really can never escape it. And so I've been focused on the psychology, how this has been programmed in, both legislatively, educationally, culturally, in every way.
We're going to have a good conversation, you and I, because there's some things I want to ask you, some things that I have been pondering on myself. But I wanted to go back to the part where you said about the German people. And I guess it comes down to ethnicity, because I knew that the Italians were frowned down upon by white folk for a long time. For various reasons, and they do have some coloration in their skins, a lot of them. The Irish, I thought that was just a ethnic kind of thing, but the Germans, I don't quite understand that. Could you expound just a bit?
Yeah, I mean, there's another book too, in addition to my books. There's one called The History of White People by Dr. Neil Irving Painter, where she goes into some of this. There's also a book by a white man by the name of Theodore Allen, and that's called The Invention of the White Race. And so he kind of points out this chronology. Oh, and Dr. Nancy Eisenberg's book, White Trash, the 400-year untold story of class in America. All of those books really map out this kind of chronological development of whiteness in terms of
and they use that to keep other people suppressed and keep other people down politically,
and to also elevate a sense of self.
Themselves. Got you. Yeah, got you. So how do we get your book? I know you're not on here to promote your books, but I got to get your book. How do I get it?
Please go to DanteKing.com. You can go to my website. You can also go online to any global major book retailer, be it Barnes & Noble.
Well, I'm gonna go to DanteKing.com so you can keep all the money, because I don't want none of them getting a penny of your money. You know what I mean? I write and produce. I'm in the film and AI production now, and because I just got to stay modern with what's going on, and music. And I know they take a cut of your money, Apple Pay and different folks. So I'm going to go to DanteKing.com to get my copies. Now let's bring it into what's going on currently, because I believe a lot of things that are happening to Black people and brown people, and to some degree poor white people, is based on this supremacy concept that you articulated, that to me leads to this kind of thing of what the Supreme Court just did to dilute black political power. So bringing it to the modern day, how does the concepts that you just enunciated relate to what's going on now to our people as far as what the Supreme Court just did?
So I think this is a very nuanced discussion. I know we have some time, so I'll try to go through this gradually. We have to understand first that the white supremacy movement is one of terror. So when people position themselves as a political group for the purposes of doing harm and suppressing and repressing other groups that they see as inferior or not deserving of rights and privileges, that's called terrorism. And I think we have to name it for what it is. And so when you think about, for example, the first law that pertained to citizenship in the United States of America, which was the Nationality Act, or the Naturalization Law of 1790, that law constituted that in order to become a citizen of the United States, you had to be a white person. You had to be a free white person. And so that the language of that law is written very clearly, and it was followed up roughly 5 years later with a kind of an amendment to it or updated iteration of it in the 1795 Naturalization Law or Nationality Act. I say this, and this is very important, because you have to understand the intentions of the development of the country, of the establishment of the United States, which is that this is supposed to be a white country that was created by and for white people. And so any and everything that follows that, be it political, be it moral, and in my estimation, every move that's been made has been political. For example, when you get to like the emancipation of enslaved people, and Lincoln taking the position that he wanted to take to keep the Union together, that was because the Brits, England was about to go to war against the U.S. And he felt that if the U.S. became divided, England could really manipulate the situation, and take over the U.S. And so it wasn't until Black men were invited to fight in the Civil War on the side of the Union, to where Lincoln began to change his mindset about Black people. And that also, some of the members of Congress were also persuaded as well, like, oh, okay, they can be citizens, they can be trusted. So you then have the passing of the 14th Amendment, right? But what happens after the passing of the 14th Amendment? And I think if we are to really study this period of history, beginning in 1873 with the slaughterhouse cases, where they eroded, really gutted the intention of the 14th Amendment, and they ruled that the 14th Amendment, while it guaranteed, equal rights or protections at the federal level, it didn't guarantee economic privileges. So it cut into this.
No, I don't want to cut you off, but this is a very good point I had to put in there, because it's political, and it's political because it's economics. People. I want people to understand the whole slave trade, in my opinion, was economic. They wanted free labor, period, so they could make a whole lot of money and not have to pay anybody. And they could just, and in order to do that, they had to say we're 3/5 human and we're not really human beings. So in their soul, they'd have a moral reason for this nonsense, when it really was just about the profit. And I think that's the politics of right now is also about the profit, the money. Trump knows, and the Republicans know, if they lose the House and the Senate, they won't have all that money that they've been stealing and giving to their buddies and passing along the contracts. They don't care about the farmer who loses his farm and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to throw that in there, so people could be a little more poignant as to what's happening today. And the way I see it, it's an economic reason, not just racial discrimination. Am I clear or clear? I might not be as clear on that as I'm trying to be.
Oh, you are. You tied that together quickly, and I appreciate it. And the point that I was also trying to make, though, is that those political variables that you mentioned, both politics, but also the economic variable that's involved, that's also political, is to ensure that they maintain political power on the policy and governance side, so that they won't be held accountable for anything.
Right.
there are already conversations going forth right now where they're saying, if the Democrats get into power, they're going to impeach him. They're going to try to bring all types of investigations,
right?
Into members of his cabinet, into some of the people that he's been, doing some of his businesses with. So you're spot on,
and they should. When I was state senator, Rod Blagojevich was the governor of the state of Illinois, and he was a Democrat. I was a Democrat. But I voted to impeach him. I didn't let party get in the way. I followed the evidence where it led. You know that old saying that they say in law enforcement, right? And the evidence against Rod, even though I liked him as a person, still like him as a person, was just that I could not leave him in there as governor regardless of political party. Now, some members of the Democratic Party were after him all the way, but others were saying, well, he's a Democrat, let's look the other way. But I don't think you should do that. I don't think Republicans should do that either. I wanted to just put that out there so people would know I'm not just being partisan. I did it to my own governor in the state of Illinois, and we impeached him and threw him out of office. So the investigations need to happen as we go forward. And you're right. They know if they lose power, those investigations will take place and possible impeachment will take place. Now, as it relates to the Supreme Court and what they just did, I want you to chime in on that. And we do have time. I don't know how much time you have, but I'm enjoying this, so I can stay with you for a long time. I believe that it's going to backfire on them because I've seen it happen. When I was state senator, my president of the Senate, Emil Jones, a black man, redistricted us. And I remember me and Senator Kimberly Lightford had a meeting to go to the map room and everything, and I was telling Kim, calm down, everything's going to be fine, don't worry about it. And when they pulled the sheet back and we saw the map, my map was all crazy, right? And Emil gave me a whole bunch of more white people, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, well, I'm trying to create another district. I don't know whether he was trying to get me beat or whatever, but you know what happened, Doctor? I found out that those white constituents voted for me more heavily than my black constituents did. And they told me I would go over there and campaign. It was like, Rickey Hendon, we know you. Don't worry about us. You need to go talk to the black folks because we don't want you to lose. We love you. And it was so it can backfire on the Republicans. But what do you think about what they are trying to do with that decision the Supreme Court made?
Well, I think it's very dangerous. And I think what I'm more concerned about are the ways that when we look at the mechanics of the legal system and the juridical system and just the way that governance occurs, I think it's important to pay attention to the erosion that, you can have legislation that is passed, and yet you can then have a political group called, white people rally the courts and really stock the courts in a nature that is so political and partisan that then the civil rights of other individuals are eroded because the legislation over time becomes gutted. And that is what we've seen. We saw it, in literally 3 cases during the 21st century that gutted the Civil Rights Act of 1965. And now its original intended purpose is no longer in existence. And again, if you go back to the Reconstruction era, I think about, for example, the Force Acts of 1870 and 1871, which were instituted to protect African Americans and protect them from violence that was being enacted by the KKK, by the White Citizens League, the Red Shirts. Mm-hmm. And Congress enacted those laws to protect Black people so that they could enforce their rights as citizens.
Listen.
Well, what happened? What happened in 1876 and 1883? The U.S. Supreme Court overturned both of those and inspired mass lynchings across the country.
Listen, I grew up in Alabama. My family, we moved around a lot. I used to say we were Black gypsies. And I can't. And by the way, I hope you could take a call or two. Can you?
Certainly.
Okay, because we got Naomi waiting. I want to bring her in. But down south, they were called the Night Riders, where I came from. And they were terrorists. and it was nothing you could do about them except try to fight back. And if you tried to fight back, you ended up being lynched or hung or shot and found in the creek. They had a creek, which was like a river for these people up north, don't know what a creek is. And the bodies would be found in the creek. And the government looked the other way. Mississippi, Alabama, it was outrageous. And I'm talking about 1953, late 1950s, 96, and now 2026, and it's like we're going backwards. Let's go to see if Naomi is. Naomi, are you there?
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the show. Thank you for the wait. Did we just lose her?
Oh. I guess we did. Sorry.
Okay, well, there's it. That's her right back. Okay. We have our guest, Professor Dante King, on with us, and now we have a caller in there. We'll go right ahead.
Hi. Well, this is a little not exactly related. It's more related to what you were talking before you were speaking to the professor. But maybe, do you want me to mention what I was?
Yeah,
calling
go
about
right
anyway?
ahead. Professor's very brilliant, and I'm sure he'll dive right in where he sees fit.
Well, I don't think what I have to say is very brilliant. But anyway, in the designation, the numerical designation 8747.
Yes.
The orange idiot didn't like it, so I have a new one for him. 66647.
Oh, geez. That's the sign of the devil. Well, listen, when I saw that picture, and Professor, if you want to, you can pass on it if you want to, but when I saw that picture of that post that Trump had reposted, or something that they're trying to say he reposted, of him over a body that looked like Epstein's, like he was Jesus, it just blew my mind. And many people asked, was he the Antichrist? I'm not going to give him that much power, that much credit. But it makes it scary. It's very scary. Did we lose the professor?
No.
Okay, Professor King?
Hello?
Okay, go right ahead. We'll get the professor right back. But go right ahead.
One more thing. On the ballroom.
Yes.
I don't think we should give him a ballroom. You know why? Because he can't dance.
You are funny. I don't think the ballroom is even for him. I think the ballroom is so he can just hold his head up and say, "Look what I did. This is my ballroom.
You know what?
This is my airplane." And remember, he wants to put this statue somewhere.
Yeah, but I think I want to take him literally, Ricky. I want to take him literally. He doesn't deserve a ballroom because he can't dance.
Because he can't dance. Okay. Well, you're probably right that he can't dance. Thank you for your...
I think we should do a dance contest, see who deserves the ballroom.
True. I think Epstein would outdance him right now, and Epstein did. Maybe.
Anybody can, even a brand new
But
baby.
let me put it. Maybe Epstein did, because I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't believe nothing they...
I've never seen anybody move the way he does. It's crazy. It's weird.
Thank you for your call. Let's hope he dances, but right on out of office, okay?
Okay, Ricky, thanks.
All right, thank you. Did we get the professor back?
No, I'm trying to get him.
Okay, we gonna get the professor back. We lost him some kind of way when I took that caller's call, but I don't like people to hold on a very, very long time. But hopefully, the professor we can get him back, because it was a very stimulating conversation with Dante King, a university professor, speaker, and human resource management consultant. And his books are available. You can go to the regular, the streaming people to get it or whatever. But I would want you to go to his website, which is I'm going to do, Dante, Dante King, KING.com. And get his books, at least one or two of the three. This newer one is the Psychopathy of Whiteness. And then he has the Epigenetics of Anti-Blackness and the Malignant Narcissism and Collective Antisocial Personality Disorder. That's an intellectual, 3 intellectual books right there. I have to get him. I have to get him. Hopefully we can get him back on. We can continue the stimulating conversation. But you can go to his website, DanteKing.com. The Joan Esposito Show is sponsored by Team Hochberg. If you're interested in purchasing a home, and you need to do what Joan Esposito did and call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Sally, Bob, and their newborn son Gus, combined income of $200,000 a year. Call to get pre-qualified, and it's very important. If you get pre-qualified, you know what you can do. David answered their questions personally, introduced them to a realtor, and helped them secure a mortgage with a low down payment. Let's review real quick. David pre-qualified Sally and Bob to purchase the home 4 months before their lease expired, introduced them to a realtor who located them the perfect home and helped them secure a mortgage with only a 3% down. That's very important, low down payment. If you're purchasing a home and want the same outstanding service Sally, Bob, and Gus received, call Team Hochberg call them now, 855-563-2843. That's 855-563-2843, or visit 56david.com and Google Team Hochberg to read their 700 5-star reviews. Team Hochberg helped Joan and thousands of WCPT listeners, and they'll help you too. But they can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843. We'll be right back.
Stephanie Miller here. I am shooting the proverbial poop with guess who? The tummy whisperer. Yep, Renee Barish of Digestive Health Solutions. Renee, there's lots of confusion about food and diet these days. What brings people to you, and how do you help them sort it out?
Great question. People come to me with a garden variety of digestive issues, including bloating, constipation, diarrhea, and heartburn. But the fun doesn't stop there. So many people bypass these symptoms and exhibit skin conditions, low energy, and poor sleep.
Okay, then what?
Well, I provide expert navigation with diet as well as sensitive testing for your digestion and microbiome. These tests provide clear data about what's happening in your body. And now with this info, I create a go-forward plan to help you feel better.
That's great. Thanks.
Thank you, Mama.
You can talk to Renee at 847-207-2034 or visit thetummywhisperer.com. That's 847-207-2034. Just ask for Renee. 847-207-2034.
In 1776, we defied a corrupt king, and the America we love was born from that defiance. Now it's time to do it again. America is in crisis, but patriots across the country are standing up to save her for ourselves and our posterity. Show your support with the No Kings lapel pin, a 1-inch by 1-inch standard American flag lapel pin embedded with our No Kings symbol. So much better than that tacky red hat. It's a subtle but powerful way to say you've had enough of wannabe dictators and you're doing something about it. Every day, keep our movement going by wearing this pin that clearly says what freedom-loving Americans are thinking. There are no kings in America, and there never will be. Go to store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. That's store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Get your No Kings lapel pin now.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. A couple of patchy showers early tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Areas of frost developing in the suburbs. We'll see a low temperature of 36 degrees with northeast winds at 5 to 10. Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature around 47 degrees. Sunday, cloudy with some hit-and-miss showers around and a high temperature of 64. Monday, chance of showers and storms with a high temperature around 73 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 45.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Now back to Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT 820.
Live, local, and progressive. Welcome back to the Joan Esposito Show. And Dr. King, sorry about that. We're having a few technical difficulties over here. What's on your end? It's on our end. All right?
No problem.
I can see you. I just got to stick my head up to see you. You can see me, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, good. This screen over here is acting crazy. Okay, but we were talking about we won't go back what the caller was mentioning, but I did want to ask you about the Supreme Court's ruling and how it can affect different states. Because if we lose black legislators nationally, we lose that voice. Am I correct?
Oh, for sure. You lose the voice of the people, and even regardless of the politics. If it's black legislators who are Democrat or black legislators who are Republican, but we also know the Republican Party consists of mostly white people, voters, a voting bloc. So this has and I think it's what's really unfortunate is when we're having these conversations around race, right? Mm-hmm. They're saying that, race shouldn't be considered, but race has been considered since this country was founded. It's just that the white race was being considered, and that's who's being considered here. So this decision is being made in a moment and in a country that has a very pronounced history of not just racial discrimination, but white supremacy and prioritizing white people politically, economically, educationally, in all ways. And so what this does is it reconstitutes white power, white political power structure. It's just, and it's always been there, but this decision allows and enables it to be more pronounced. And when we think about the reason for the 1965 Voting Rights Act, it was to dilute that power because there was just rampant discrimination all over the place. You had literacy tests, poll taxes, all sorts of things that intentionally worked against and overtly worked against non-white people being able to vote, and particularly black people being able to vote. So
and now not just redistricting, but now along those lines, they're saying you got to have your driver's license. You definitely got to have a passport. A whole lot of people don't have no passport. They never even been out the country. Some of them never been out the state. So it's just a layer after layer that they're adding on. Would you agree, to make it harder to vote instead of making it easier to vote?
Well, again, it parallels with what I just mentioned. Prior to the Voting Rights Act, there were poll taxes, literacy tests. Think of who was mostly economic deprived, kept from economic opportunity, being supervisors and managers in white American institutions that most of them had signs up that says, no dogs, no cats, no Negroes allowed, right? It's so vital that we understand that this framework and the tools that they're erecting in this moment, this is a playbook that they've always enacted and always had access to.
Listen, I took a training course. I had dropped out of college, so I went to trade school, training course, and my counselor was a white guy, and we had different categories that we could go into as our career. One of them was radio broadcasting, believe it or not, right? I wanted to go into radio. He told me, now we took 5 tests. I scored 100, 100, 100, and a 98, right? 400s and a 98. You know what he told me?
What?
I couldn't go to broadcasting school. I had to drive a truck. I had to go to truck driver school. And I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Radio broadcasting, and look at me now, I'm at WCPT. Radio broadcasting was on the list. And I said, it's on the list. Why didn't I qualify? Because you got a 98. Dude, did nobody else later be in my class get 400s and 198? Everybody was like 70, 80. They all passed. But because I didn't get absolute perfect score, he's going to deny me. So I went above his head, my friend, Dr. King. I went above his head, went to the office, and they were like, well, we can't do nothing about it. I said, y'all going to do something about it. And I stayed persistent. And one of my teachers was really angry. She was a black woman. She's like, this is not right. She went to bat for me. Why can't he go to broadcasting school? And he scored made me take all 5 tests, new tests, not the same test. They gave me 5 more tests. I aced them. Every one of them, 100%. The counselor, they moved him to another location from the west side. I don't know where he went. I got a new counselor. The new counselor, know what she told me? That I scored the highest percentage they'd ever had at that time. And she allowed me to go to Omega School of Communications. It's always been rigged against us.
Absolutely. And the hyper scrutiny that you just talked about, that I talk about in my definition of anti-Blackness, there's this hyper scrutiny, 100, 198. That's perfect score.
Right.
And yet they required you to do more. And being compelled and required to do more, it becomes exhausting and it becomes angering. And so I just wanted to say too, in terms of the topic that we're discussing about the Supreme Court, if people go out to my Substack, and I wrote an article about this yesterday. It's titled Jim Crow 3.0, The Supreme Court is Finishing What It Started in 1873. I think as Black people, we are tired.
You got to take that really anger. But what you're suggesting is what I did. I got mad, but I used that anger to ace them the other 5 classes. Because I told them, sure, I'll take them. Give them to me. Give me 10 more tests. Matter of fact, Lady V, that's exactly what I said. Give me 10 more effing tests. I didn't cuss. That's what I said. Now, at that time, I did. I said, give me 10 more tests. I aced them, bro.
And I understand, and I understand that philosophy.
Pure racism. And don't tell me I had to be a truck driver. Nothing's wrong with truck driver. But I did not want to be, I became senator. I'm on the radio. Radio was where I wanted to go. But he wanted to deny me just because I was Black. That was it. Now, since we're on this subject, and anybody, you could still call in, even though I have a guest, 773-763-9278, 773-763-9278. But, bruh, I got to ask you this, because I said it earlier on my show. You'd be the perfect person to ask. I have a poll numbers in front of me that says Trump, even with all the mess, and I think I got one reason why, I'm going to put one reason why that I believe his numbers went up a little bit with Black men, for the most part. And I believe it was because of the migrant situation and how he played that and played it against Black folks against brown folks. And a lot of Black people was like, oh, the migrants getting this and migrants getting that. And I'm like, come on, y'all. Y'all need to, stop playing. He playing you. He using you. But his numbers went up among Black people. So I've said on this show that I want the brain of a Black man, a Black Republican, a mega Black Republican, examined by a professor like you after he died. Can we just preserve his brain somewhere? Just to analyze his brain. So without having a dead body in front of us and the Negro's brain, what can be going through the brain of Black folks that's supporting this man? That wanted to get rid of Jackie Robinson, to take Jackie Robinson's posters down and picture down from the Hall of Fame and all this, even though Jackie Robinson served in the Army. Wanted to, just destroy DEI, just blame the airplane crash on Black folks. When he first came into office and the planes was crashing, it's because the Blacks are in there, and wasn't a Black pilot, it wasn't a Black person in the cockpit, wasn't a Black person in the control tower. But I know some Black people bought into it. So what's going on in the mind of the Black man or Black woman that still love Trump?
Well, it's so interesting that you would mention, having someone study the minds of, Black people or Black Republican people. I'm going to share just a few resources, I would say. One being The Falsification of African Consciousness, Eurocentric History, Psychiatry, and the Politics of White Supremacy by Dr. Amos Wilson. He wrote about this over 30 years ago, and just kind of the adoption of white psychology and the white cultural, sociocultural, and psychosocial orientation into our identity as Black people. And his work, in my estimation, is somewhat of an extension of Dr. E. Franklin Fraser's book, The Black Bourgeoisie, where he talked about as Black people quote unquote progress, or our standards for progressing are really rooted in becoming more like white people, meaning that because we've been forced to assimilate into a culture that was constructed by them, a cultural orientation that was constructed by them, as well as institutions, that as we ascend in this culture or we move into advancement or improvement, those standards are set by white people. And so therefore we then become to desire what they want in many times, in terms of what you're talking about, in the extreme. It's like the slave turning to re-enslave himself with the slave master after he's emancipated.
There was always one that was with the white man to enslave our own people. The house Negro, the field Negro, the one who would beat us and whip us for the massa. The one who say, "Massa, our house burning." It ain't your house. You know, so the fact that we were slaves for so many years, 400 years of slavery, where they separated us, where they didn't put the African who spoke the same language in the same house or whatever, did that have a long-term effect on black people? Because I'm not worried about white folks. Well, I'm concerned about them a little bit, but I'm not. It's the black man that blow my mind.
Well, I'm concerned about both. I really am, because I think it's unfair to just focus on black people because when we don't focus on the root cause and where this comes from and the problems that lie with the root cause, right, which is kind of white socialization and enculturation, then we then unfairly isolate black people in this conversation.
Yeah, I guess I didn't say that one quite right. What I'm saying is what I'm trying to get to is, and because some of my intellectual friends would love you, by the way. They'd love to sit around with you for a couple of hours to go through this, because this takes some time and a couple of shots of Jack Daniels for me, you know. But the effects of slavery, I believe, are still being felt by black people.
I would expand it. Okay. It's not just slavery. Slavery, yes, because during that process, there was a forced assimilation. But even when you go back to the antebellum South, when you go back to the colonial period, that the impacts of all of this were not just levied upon those that were of the enslaved class. If you go back to those laws, they're saying any and every Negro, right, whether free or enslaved. And so the brutality of being forced to assimilate into another group's cultural orientation and culture, that is long lasting, and you don't recover. And so Dr. Bobby Wright, in his work around the psychopathic racial personality, he talked about menticide, which was, as he described it, a systematic and deliberate process through which the minds of a group of people are conditioned to accept inferiority and to internalize oppression. He defined it as deliberate and systematic destruction of a group's mentality. You know, so even when we think about groups like the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, advancement of the colored people from where into what?
Right, exactly. And don't get me started on some of these groups. I have some personal history with some of these groups, and you be like, because when I was senator, I made the front page of the Sun-Times and the Tribune because I started giving money to smaller groups, you know, new startup black groups that are trying to do things in the community. And yeah, there was some bumps in the road, and they were like, well, why you didn't just give the money to the NAACP? Or why you didn't just... Because... You know, you can't just determine and tell me who's going to save me, you know what I'm saying, and my people. But we do fall into that. But I was just wondering, and I hope you're available if we ever get to the point to where we can examine the brains of a mega black Republican, because we got to figure it out. That's why I say I'm concerned about black folks, because I'm around some who just, and I challenged them to call the show today. They don't want them. They won't call in, but they'll post on my Facebook page some ignorance, or they'll text me something, and I'll say, okay, let's have a dialogue publicly. Not one has called in today. Black Republicans, mega. Trump could do anything to them, and it wouldn't matter. Anything to our people, and it would not matter. That's the one I want to examine, Doctor.
That's right.
You know.
Because
self-hate. Is it self-hate?
I think that that's part of it. But even more than that, I think there's just an addiction to white leadership that is an extension to slavery. And I think that addiction lies not only with Black people, it's the addiction to white leadership lies with white people mostly. And then also, we saw that roughly 54% of Latino men voted for Donald Trump in the last presidential election, and almost upwards of 40% of Latina women. Right now, we do have to racialize that, because I think within those numbers, there may not have been as many Afro-Latino people who voting for Donald Trump as there were European presenting, or people, white presenting Latinos. But that number was still significantly high.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Significantly high. Now, and the other thing that I'll take it a step further, they want white men. I think Kamala Harris didn't get some votes, especially from Black men and maybe Latino men, because she was a woman. This male chauvinism is crazy among our people as well. I've had some Black guys tell me, "Hey, vote for no." Like, what? What? Just because she's a woman? Come on, man. Yes. Don't you have a mother? I'll say, don't you have a mother or sister? Hey, can't none of they say nothing to me either. I'm like, oh, okay. You one of them. No woman can lead him nowhere. No woman can tell him nothing. So then you put white male, and I know this gonna sound crazy to some people, but I told some people, in order to defeat Donald Trump, because it's this macho thing that he's running, this is his game, you need a macho, somebody who would attack him back. Not somebody who would just be cool and intelligent, because that doesn't always work when you're dealing with a crazy person. Am I making sense? And to me, the Democrats were refusing to engage with Trump. What did Michelle Obama say? When they go low, we go high. Well, that didn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I also want to take this a little deeper too. I really appreciate the comment that you made. I say that this is a country that not only does not respect those who are, of the female persuasion, girls, women, but this is really a country in many ways, and there are many other countries around the world that hate women. We just kind of mask it differently here, but this country does not value women or girls a lot at all. And rooted within the construct of maleness, there's nothing that really gears us to, even when we have great mothers. Like, I adore my mom. I worship the ground she walks on. Yes. But I can remember growing up, the men that I was around who modeled disrespect, who didn't treat women well. So we have to understand that even when women begin to accomplish things or achieve things, through our institutions, that respect is still not there. And there are people who would never vote for a woman just because she's a woman, know? And so I really appreciate that comment. And more than that, they were willing to vote for an admitted sexual predator who basically admitted in the E. Jean Carroll deposition that we've been behaving like this for 1 million years. This is someone that is also a 30-something count convicted felon on tax fraud. He is not educated in terms of measuring up to the educational standards and competencies that we would expect from someone who was running a McDonald's. And so you're willing to vote for this prototype or this profile versus someone who was the most seasoned and qualified candidate in U.S. history, having worked in all 3 branches of government, executive, judicial, and legislative. I mean, what does that tell us about where we are?
That's the sad part. That's the sad part. And if what allegedly is true, because they're going to have Howard Lutnick, the Treasurer Secretary, in front of Congress next week, about his relationship with Epstein and being on the Epstein Island and all this and all that. It's just every level of government within his cabinet. You got somebody that's been accused of something freaky. So it's going to get worse on women, I think, if they get away with this, and little girls.
It's been worse since the beginning of this country. And what I write about in my book, my newest book in chapter 4, actually, is that America was founded as a pedophilic state. What does that mean? That means in roughly every state across this country, beginning roughly in the year 1800, they lowered the age to 10 years old in terms of marrying young girls.
Ain't that sad?
Yeah.
As sick as it could get, 10 years old.
And in some states, it was as low as 7, like in the state of Delaware.
Come on now, 7? Now, the lowest I heard was 14, and now you're telling me 10 and now 7?
10 and 7. And then that didn't change until roughly the 1880s, 1890s. And then they raised it to 14.
Wow. Yeah. I got some friends. I'm telling you, you got to come to Chicago, bro. We could sit around in a couple of hours, man, and just because people need to understand this. And the way you articulate it, I get it. And around my circle, I'll break it down for them. Yeah, Dr. King saying these niggas is crazy. No. Let's take this call on line 1. Let's take this call. But we got to face it, and we got to try to figure out why. Hello, Frank. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you? I could listen to you all day long, and I think you're absolutely right. It's absolutely horrendous what you just said, but that's where we come from. That's the history of this country, and I hate to say this, but race in America, I don't know if it's ever going to get good, if we're ever going to overcome, just because of what they did 400 years ago. And it still perpetuates today. There's something in the media, something some idiot does, something some kid says in school. I don't know how we could fix it. And it's such a horrible thing that it has gone to everything over time. And it's not just in this country, but it's about every race. You know what I mean? But I do understand African Americans, black people have gotten the worst of it in this country alone. And I don't know how it's going to change. I hope people think like me and try and be a better person and treat anybody and everybody equal. But
don't hang up, Frank. I want to get the professor to respond to that. We got him for about 5 more minutes. Professor, how does to end on a positive note? Like Frank said, he don't believe it'll ever change. I kind of believe it kind of ain't going to change. It's going to be very slow. What's your take on it?
It won't change, and I agree with Frank 100%. Wow. There's an author by the name of Dr. Derek Bell who back in the 1970s wrote about the permanence of racism. And it won't change because it can't be legislated out. What we're talking about is the ingrainment of a psychology.
Human behavior.
When you psychologize people, yes, and and Dr. Bobby Wright, what I appreciate about his work, he said that it's neurobiological. It's hardwired in. So we're talking about something that is epigenetic as well. And it's profitable. It's profitable.
That's the thing I keep getting back to. When I was senator, I told people you can pass all the legislation in the world, but if you don't have no money behind it, if you don't have no financing and funding to make it happen, it's just some words on a piece of paper. Frank, I appreciate your call. Go ahead, Frank.
This is me. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. Frank is gone. You go ahead, Professor.
I was going to say, to Frank's point, it's politically profitable too, because if white people are told that all they have to do is be white and nothing else, and they get to feel better than other people and great, that is enabling. That's like a drug. I'm better. I don't have to prove it in any way, but just because I'm white. And I think that's the problem with this country and why we are so remedial. Things have gotten so remedial because white people have never had to prove their greatness. All they've been told is that they have to be white.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna, Lady B, we're so agreeing with you. I just hope you're wrong. I know you're right, but I hope you're wrong because I just extend it out. It's like when I was senator, Pate Phillips was the president of the Senate, and he was a Republican, as Republican as you can get. A lot of people thought he was a straight racist. Me and Pate became very good friends. And Pate would come over there and he'd tell me, hey, call me Lucky. He'd say, Lucky, I got to act racist because I wouldn't be able to run my caucus, you know what I'm saying? And he actually told me that. And I'm like, and Pate, he's dead and gone. God bless him. Rest in peace, Pate. But he would tell me that. He'd call me. And then I walk back to the Democratic side, and Emil Jones, the black leader, would be mad at me. Why you go over there talking to that racist man? That man, you know what I'm saying? So there's some hope. I love you, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. Your book one more time and your website before we get you out of here.
Thank you. The book is called The Psychopathy of Whiteness, and please go to DanteKing.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Dante D. King Official, and also I'm on TikTok as well. Thank you so much, brother. It's great to be here with you.
Thank you. This is great. I appreciate you. Love you. We love you here at WCPT. And anytime, next time I'm on, I want you back.
Okay.
All right. Because we gotta examine that Negro, man. Let's just take that head, and take it in a lab and break it down. Get the fat off of it. You know how they say the fat on the head, just move it around. Got to figure it out. Thank you for being my guest today. Oh, Lady B, I got to tell you, Andy, y'all did great. You gave me a great guest. Great. I just loved it. My phone went out on Facebook, y'all. So you got to go to the WCPT page to catch the rest of the show if you want to catch me live. I know I look good. I'm all handsome and everything. So some of you listen to the radio, but some of you like to see that. But my phone just died. It's gone. So, but WCPT Facebook page is up. And we're up for the 4 o'clock news. And we'll be right back, I think. Yeah. We're taking a break. All right. Don't go nowhere.
This is Tony Moret. I'm an estate planning attorney who drafts living trusts and wills for my clients. You have probably heard my ads here on WCPT for the last few years. Your fellow listeners, when we have completed their plans, say, I wish I had done this sooner. It wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it would be. We can complete your estate plan within 30 days or less. There are certainly decisions that need to be made, but my 30-plus years of experience will help guide you through this process. There may never be a perfect time to start, but whenever I'm asked when is the best time, my answer is always the same. Now is the best time, while it is on your mind. Being able to tell your family that you have an estate plan in place, that all the details have been taken care of, will be a great relief to both yourself and those you care for the most. Our initial consultation is without charge, and there is no obligation. My phone number is 847-996-0496, and my website is moretlawoffice.com, spelled M-O-R-E-E. I look forward to speaking with you.
That's the sound of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, saving you money and energy. With rebates on Energy Star appliances, so you can come back to a home full of savings. Discover more ways to save at ComEd.com/home savings. ComEd, powering lives.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. No signs of progress on ending the Iran war. President Trump telling reporters of Iran's latest proposal.
They want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it, so we'll see what happens.
Trump did not elaborate on what he sees as the proposal's shortcomings, but did assert
there's tremendous discord. They're having a tremendous problem getting along with each other in Iran.
Iran's foreign minister held a flurry of calls today with regional counterparts from Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Azerbaijan, plus the European Union's foreign policy chief. Meanwhile, the White House is telling Congress that hostilities with Iran have terminated. This despite the continued presence of U.S. forces in the region. That message aims to skirt a May 1 legal deadline to gain congressional approval to continue the war. Trump again with reporters.
We're always in touch with Congress, but nobody's ever sought it before. Nobody's ever asked for it before. It's never been used before. Why should we be different?
Oil prices actually eased today, Brent crude falling 2% to settle just above $108 per barrel. Still, U.S. gasoline prices jumped another 9 cents overnight. AAA puts the national average for a gallon of regular at more than $4.39. But on Wall Street, stocks closed a winning week with more gains, thanks in part to better-than-expected profit reports from Apple and Estee Lauder. The S&P rose 0.3%, the Nasdaq 0.9%. but the Dow finished the day lower, losing 152 points, or 0.3%. Meanwhile, President Trump says he's imposing 25% tariffs on autos from the European Union, accusing it of not complying with a trade deal struck last year.
We raised the tariffs because they were not, as usual, they were not adhering to the agreement that we have.
The head of
President Trump is increasing an EU tariff on cars and trucks, accusing it of not complying with a trade deal. This is AP News. At a time when home ownership is impossible for more and more Americans, Habitat for Humanity is going strong.
In Habitat for Humanity's 50th year, they're bringing the Carter Work Project back to Atlanta, the intensive week-long building project named after former President Jimmy Carter and wife Rosalind. Workers are spackling drywall and mixing compound at Oswaldo Herrera's new home.
It's been a tough couple years with how things are, but having this security gives me that foundation to really shoot for the stars.
Rosalind Merrick is CEO of Atlanta Habitat for Humanity.
An affordable single-family home would be about $300,000, but the problem is that with most incomes, one can't afford a house at that level.
24 homes are being built for about $200,000 each. Families pay based on their income on a 30-year mortgage at no interest. I'm Donna Warder.
I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. A couple of patchy showers early tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Areas of frost developing in the suburbs. We'll see a low temperature of 36 degrees with northeast winds at 5 to 10. Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature around 47 degrees. Sunday, cloudy with some hit-and-miss showers around and a high temperature of 64. Monday, chance of showers and storms with a high temperature around 73 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 45.
Hey, where's Hal Sparks? I'm not sure where he is now, but I know where you can find him Saturdays at 11. He'll be right here on WCPT 820 for the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive.
Quite frankly, I get most of my news from you.
Joan Esposito.
Y'all ready for this?
On WCPT 820.
All right. You're with Rickey Hendon on the Joan Esposito Show. Joan will be back on Monday. I know y'all miss her. She will be back on Monday. Everybody needs a break now and then. She got a quick little break. And then you got a chance to hear me. I know I'm not as smooth as Joan, but I'm here. And I'm going to keep it real. Hey, we got a new guest on, everyone. Gloria J. Browne-Marshall, civil rights attorney, playwright. I want to know what kind of play. Got to check your plays out now. A racial justice activist and author of the 2025 book, A Protest History of the United States. Welcome, Gloria. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we're going to start with, how do we get your book? Where is it available at? Let's start with that.
It's available at your local bookstore. And if it's not, you need to ask for it, especially those independent bookstores. A Protest History of the United States, 500-year journey from the indigenous to slave uprisings, labor disputes, and going through women's rights all the way through violent policing being challenged up to climate change and, of course, civil rights.
Wow. Okay. Now, what about is there any way we can get it online in case we can't find it at the bookstore?
Yes. It is available all the places you go online, published by Beacon Press, and it's an Audible book.
Oh.
So for those people driving in your car, taking public transportation, before you go to sleep, you can listen to the voice. It sounds a lot like me, but A Protest History of the United States. And it really is also part memoir. And I talk about how family members protested, from my great-great-grandmother protesting from enslavement all the way through to educationist protests, survivalist protests, resistance's protests. So protest is beyond what we do in the streets, which is important. But there are all different ways to protest.
Absolutely. My son, Lil Ricky, is out there right now with the May Day protest. That was one reason I was breaking my neck to get here. I like to get here earlier than I did. But when I came up to get on the expressway, I couldn't get on the expressway because the protesters were everywhere. And I couldn't be mad at them because I understand. I was one of them. And my son like, hey, Dad, I'm like, I'm on my way to the radio station. Y'all got me blocked in. He's like, sorry, Pops, you know. But they were everywhere. You got the phone lit up already, so let me get a number out, and then let's dive in. The phone number is 773-763-9278, 773-763-9278 for WCPT, and we want your opinion on everything. So, Gloria, let's dive right in. What the hell is going on in America today? What do you think about this? Where are we at? The Supreme Court has just said that we don't exist.
I'm going to tell you something, and I've said this for a couple of years now, probably about 10 years. By the year 2045, this nation is going to be majority people of color. You can't fight what you don't understand. What we are seeing is the foundation for apartheid, so that those who will be a minority population will still have complete control over this country by undermining economic rights, social justice rights, as well as political rights for people of color. By deporting Latinos, by doing the things they're doing, they want to maintain power no matter what. And that's not all, but I'm saying Project 2025, all of this has at its core the fact that by 2045, this country will be majority people of color. So that's why I've said you've got to know what you're fighting to understand how to fight it. And there needs to be a plan that's not just protesting against something, but protesting for something. They're protesting for what they want. What is our view of the nation? So as long as they have their view and their plan to continue to push in their direction, we've got to also have a plan. And I'm tired of people not telling us a plan. If they have one, they're not telling us what it is. They don't tell me what it is. And I'm in a lot of different circles. Right. They don't say what the plan is. So we've got to have a plan of action of our own. And I believe it should be democracy, diversity, literacy, and health. Those four pillars should be the foundation of our plan going forward into 2045, as opposed to acting like the little kid on the playground who keeps getting punched and having their lunch money taken every afternoon. We need to actually figure out how we are going to come together and fight back. And even in protesting, what are we protesting for outside of our frustration? So a lot of these things are happening. If you start looking at what they're doing, you can see they're undermining our political rights, so that they will have the political rights and we won't have any. People are getting laid off. They're taking away these jobs, undermining our educational opportunities. They're doing all these things because the progress of Black people, especially African Americans and other people of color, but the progress of African Americans doesn't sit right with a lot of people. And it makes them concerned about their position of power in the world. If they are supposed to be white supremacists, then they have to be supreme. If they're not naturally supreme, then it's unnaturally made. And that's what happens in this country many times before. With Plessy versus Ferguson, which gave us legalized apartheid, all these different things have happened. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We're in a 1 step back mood and mode.
3 steps back right now.
Figure it out.
3.
But how going forward? Think about what our ancestors had to do to take those 2 steps.
Right. Now, I want to ask you.
Here we are playing.
I want to ask you about that because the plan is so essential, is so important, and I am. You know, well, you may not know, but I used to be state senator. So when I was state senator, I had a plan, and I became chairman of the Senate Black Caucus, and I would sit the members down and say just what you're saying, like, all right, what is our plan? What is our agenda for this budget? Because I was all about the money, okay? Because I'm sitting there, we got $5 billion, you know, and they want me to just vote for it, and there was nothing in there for the West Side. So I walked in the door, the first committee I sat on was appropriations. And no freshman has ever sat on appropriations before me or after me or since then, okay?
Wow.
But I told the person who wanted to be leader, he was Black, Emil Jones. I said, Jones, I'll vote for you but what's in it for my area, my community? Because I have a plan.
Thank you.
And I said, if you got all this money and the West Side not getting any, because believe me, we were getting nothing. Part of my plan was I got to get to the money so I can get it to my district. And unless you will work with me, I'm not going to vote for you for leader. And I voted for him for leader, and I was on appropriations the first day. And he said to me, I had to wait 35 years before I got on appropriation. I said, well, that was you. I got a plan. So how do we plan? What should be our plan? I understand the pillars you set down, but how do we implement it as it relates to politics? Because right now, there's a question of whether does Kamala Harris run again, or does Cory Booker run, or do we find a newer, younger version? We can't run Obama again, right? So as far as national politics, what would you suggest, or what kind of thought or idea do you have on that as far as the plan goes?
For one, we should be working on registering as many people to vote right now
as possible,
and finding out what as possible legally, of course, because this whole thing about voter fraud was a game in the first place. It was not real. It was just used as a white sheet to cover up some lot of shenanigans taking place as far as voter ID. Anything that could undermine the number of people coming out to vote was put in place. We need to understand that we've got to organize. We've got to make sure that we have everybody registered. We need to also help support some of these lawsuits. And you see how the Supreme Court, because we figured out how to vote. And just like, Ossie Davis said, when the Congressional Black Caucus was formed in the very beginning, the first meeting, he said, it's not about the man, it's about the plan. So it's not about the man or the woman in office, it's about the plan. Who's the person who can get in office and make sure we get our agenda pushed forward? And once they get in office, like you, how many people are bringing jobs and money back to their constituents? It's not about just being able to have the title and the privileges of elected office. You're supposed to bring things back to your constituents. Representation by itself, symbolism by itself is not enough anymore. And if you're not going to bring something back to your constituents, then you've got to either lead in that way, follow, or get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Okay.
Will you take some calls? Will you take some calls?
I want to do this one quick thing.
Sure.
One quick thing. You asked about the plan.
Yes.
What people are doing when they're calling in who have been out there marching and whatever, ask them, have they been told by the leaders of these different groups, whether or not it's Indivisible, No Kings, what their plan is? You've got millions of people going out in the street based on what folks are saying. Yet they've not told us a plan.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying when they call in, you can ask them, has anybody told you what the plan is? Because you're going out there based on what these people, that's a lot of power to get millions of people in the street without telling us what the plan is.
Now, so you will take some calls because the phones are lit up. All right, then let's, I'm going to say this one thing. Well, let's take Cynthia, and then I'll say this one thing because it's going to be controversial. And I'll see what Cynthia's got on her mind before I run this controversial thing by you. Hello, Cynthia. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I miss your passion on your regular show. I'm so glad you're sitting.
Thank you. The owners of the station, they hear when y'all say things like this. And I've told them, I always wanted a regular show through the week. I think I could do this every day. I just love communicating with people, but I just couldn't. And the station did offer me a chance, but I just couldn't do the 5 o'clock in the morning. I just, you know what I'm saying? I could, because I don't sleep well sometimes at night. So, but midday, late night, I'll do a midnight show on WCPT if they want me. So thank you for those kind words. Go right ahead. You're calling from Denver, Colorado?
Yes, I am, and we need your passion because I don't think our conversation needs to be polite anymore when we talk about the GOP or the Supreme Court. I need to hear people say liar. I need to hear that word.
Traitor.
Not mistruth, liar.
Treason.
I need to hear that all the time. And with the Supreme Court, you talk about Dred Scott, and you talk about, how we died trying to vote. Quit trying to keep everything in a straight line, because these people aren't playing.
Let's ask Gloria about this real quick, because don't you hang up, though. You hang on. Gloria, so what do you think about the volume? I mean volume not in terms of how much, but the loudness of our protesting, of our pain. Because some people, and I said earlier before you came on, and I love Michelle Obama, that's my girl, but she the one talked me into supporting Barack, by the way. It's another story. But when she said, when they go low, we go high. And that's the way you want it to be. But I don't think that's the time we're living in right now. And Cynthia kind of agrees with me. Where do you come down on that?
I think you've got to meet your moment. You've got to meet the moment. And there have always been various ways in which people have pushed back. For one thing, these protests are not disruptive. They're not disrupting the status quo. If people can oppress and stay comfortable, remember, no justice, no peace.
No justice,
and I'm
no
not
peace.
saying disruption. Yeah, disruption doesn't have to be violent, but disruption has to figure out a way in which we stop the status quo from being comfortable in their oppression. And my concern is these regular protests have to have some other offshoots to them that meet the moment. There should be people protesting at different places all the time, not just once every 3 months.
Right.
This is how the Europeans protest, because I've been in Europe during the time period of protests. I was there in England, France, Italy, different places where they had protests. They have a certain day, they all come out, they protest by the millions, then they go home. That's how Europeans protest. That doesn't work in America. You've got to disrupt in America, because the people are still making money and they're still comfortable going home to their place. They're not going to change anything.
Thank you, because it comes down to that dollar. I tell people, and I've been telling people, the best effect that I had as senator was when I crunched them on their money. When I would shut down construction sites. And believe me, I was crazy. I've climbed up on construction sites, way up, and had boats, thrown at me, screwdrivers and stuff, thrown at me from the workers, the white workers, because they only had no black folks working there. And I just ducked them, and I kept my protest going. But guess what? By the time I got down off that ladder, I had some people hired. But it took me to disrupt their revenue to make it happen. Cynthia?
Well, let me just say this. The Iranians is going to disrupt our revenue with the gas prices going high. $6. Yesterday it was $4.20. Today is $4.59.
Girl, wait. Shorty, pump your brakes. Me and Lady B were like, we'd love to see $4.50. $4.29. Gas is $6.29 in Chicago.
Oh God!
I have to fill up on my way home. I'm gonna pay the $6 because Monday it'll be $6.50 because it's gonna continue to go up because Trump keeps saying we won the war, it's over, but I'm still fighting, but I'm sending more troops.
But why were we even in a war in the first place? And see, and that's why I'm saying, if we're not going to disrupt, there should be people with these gas price signs somewhere. Maybe they should be at gas stations. And I'm not trying to put any pressure on those are regular people working at gas stations. But there's got to be a plan in which we disrupt economically. Whether or not, okay, let's go back to the civil rights movement. The sit-ins disrupted economically.
Right.
Why? Because when those college students sat in on those segregated, restaurants and other places and stores, it kept business from happening.
The bus
boycott.
Where
are you going to go?
Rosa Parks.
Bus boycott kept business from happening. It's not enough on a day for people to go out and not have anything else happen. When's the next one?
And that's why the Tesla protest was so effective, because it lasted almost a year. I know. Okay. My son was out there all the time. And I got a little older, so I couldn't be out there with him. But I made sure he had lunch. I made sure he had gas money. When he got arrested, I made sure we bailed him out of jail. So you're right. There are all kinds of ways that we can participate. Cynthia, I'm going to let you go because I don't want to lose Gloria before I talk to this Republican who had the nerve to call my show. I want Gloria to hear him, okay? Thank you for your call, Cynthia. Let's go to Verlon. I hope this is the Verlon, the black Republican Verlon.
Hey, Ricky, I just touched down, man. My flight was delayed.
Lord have mercy, Jesus. Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Beginning of your show, but it was crazy. Uber didn't pick me up from my house.
They didn't have no gas.
I missed my first flight.
Uber didn't pick you up because they didn't have no gas in their car.
Okay, what has this got to do with the time we have at
Gloria,
short?
okay, here we go. This is a black Republican who I want the Smithsonian Museum to take his brain after he passes away and study his brain, or you and Dr. King, who is just on, to study the brain of a black mega Republican so we can understand what's going on in his head. But Verlon, the floor is yours so Gloria can know what I have to deal with on a regular basis.
Okay. Hello, how you doing, Gloria? I want to respect you. I respect women in general, and I especially respect black women. But I'm going to tell you something. The Supreme Court just struck down racially gerrymandered districts. We can pick up, as Republicans, 22 seats, and that's you all's fault for what you did in Virginia. And Virginia is going to be everything that they did in Virginia is going to do a whole rollback. So because you all did that, you took on the playbook of Illinois. You all were the test baby of how you racially gerrymander and just gerrymander in general districts. And that's why Republicans don't have any power in Illinois. The Supreme Court just struck you down, and you're not going to win the House. My head was held low for about 3-4 weeks.
And you're happy about that. I thought you all. I'm gonna let Gloria come in, but I gotta be very clear. You're happy that white Republicans are going to win possibly more seats because of what the Supreme Court said, and you're a black man. Is that correct?
It's not about.
I asked you a simple question. They're not going to draw the lines to help black people win. They're going to draw the lines to help white people win. Am I right or wrong?
It's 2026.
Am I right or wrong?
Affirmative action. We don't need affirmative action.
Are you okay, Gloria?
Okay,
he's all yours.
How much? You know what? No, I just want to know how much time we have on the show.
You got 5 more. You got 5 more minutes. I'm gonna just let you and him talk. I'm done.
Okay. No, it's not. It's not about that. This is just one person. He can have his viewpoint. Texas was gerrymandered. And it was like those gerrymandering, that's where it began with Republicans in Texas. And from there, we had the Democrats do the redistricting in California. And from that, we have Illinois. And of course, but we've had so many types of racially motivated ways to gut the Voting Rights Act. The Voting Rights Act didn't give black people the right to vote. It protected the black vote because people were killed. And if you want to read my book, I have plenty of books, The Voting Rights War. You can read a book about the people who got killed just trying to vote. So yes, you could say that was the 60s, but I'm looking at this now, and the Republicans don't mean you any good, but if you get some good out of it, then that's between you and your maker. But I look at myself and the community, you know, the people who rely on us to make sure their rights are protected. I know that this U.S. Supreme Court, the super majority of conservatives are trying to do what Donald Trump wants them to do. And if Donald Trump is doing something for you, because I haven't seen him do anything for anybody black, but if you think he's doing something for you, then that's between you and your maker.
I'm sorry, Gloria. I have to correct you. Illinois was 10 years before Texas just did what they did recently. Illinois has been gerrymandered for a decade.
Then why are you saying that it's because of Illinois that they're doing this?
What about Mississippi? What about Alabama? What about Georgia?
You said, what has Donald Trump done for me? He's keeping Iran from getting a nuclear bomb, so I won't die, and my grandkids won't die.
What other countries have nuclear bombs?
Does Israel have a nuclear bomb, Verlon?
Wait a minute. What other countries have nuclear bombs?
They're not threatening to kill nobody with a nuclear bomb.
They're killing Palestinians right now. They're all in Gaza right now. They're in Lebanon right now. They're in Syria right now.
Not with a nuclear bomb. They are responsible, just like the United States.
All right, let my guest talk, Verlon. Go ahead.
Okay, here's the thing. This is something between you and he, and you guys can keep this up as far as it goes. I'm very serious when it comes down to constitutional law. I teach constitutional law, and I'm not just going by what somebody tells me about Iran. They can turn around, it's like, kidnapping the president of Venezuela. I'm sure that works well. There are so many places in this world that can't stand the United States for good reason, because the United States does a lot of stuff to a lot of people around the world, and expect no one to ever say anything. So we can threaten other countries, we can kidnap other presidents, we can blow people out of the water without trial, we can drop drones, bombs on people, and we expect no one to ever say a bad word about us. So Iran was minding its own business. It had its issues, but there are other countries. And so what brother needs to do is find out what the United States has done to other countries to provoke them and make them fear for their safety, because we do that a lot. I want to end with this one thing in our last moments.
Yes.
What I did today during this protest, today I worked on Martyrs Day. Martyrs Day, I'm a founder of Martyrs Day. Martyrs Day is July 5th, because we have so many protesters out there, and your son is out there, and please, God, protect him. There are a lot of protesters who leave to protest and don't come home.
True.
Because this country has done things to people from its very beginning. And if we need to know our history, if we knew our history, we would understand that martyrs are part of this country's history, not just the military fighting outside forces, but people inside of this country. Martyrsday.us. Go to the website, martyrsday.us, MARTYRS Day, martyrsday.us. And on that website, you'll see the July 5th, trying to do something to remember the protesters who have been slain in this country. And that's what I was doing today. And my act of protest was to work on martyrsday.us.
All right, everybody. That is attorney Gloria J. Browne-Marshall, civil rights attorney, playwright, racial justice activist, and author of A Protest History of the United States. I appreciate you. Thank you for being my guest. There you go. Verlon, I'm going to talk to you one more minute, but I want my guest to say bye-bye. Love you. Thank you. Next time I need you back on. All right.
Yes, and peace and healing to Verlon. May God bless him.
Well, I pray for him too, but it ain't did no good. Some prayers, God just say, look, I'm done. I'm done. That's just what I believe. Sometimes I think God just say, hey, I'm done with that one. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gloria. All right, Verlon, I'm going to let you go, man. We got some other calls, but I did want to ask you about one thing. If you got time, you got time?
Oh, yeah, I found a quiet space in the airport. But I want to respond to what the lady said. When they took that president out of office that's keeping fentanyl from killing Americans.
Verlon, his vice president became president. So, Maduro left, but he kept everything else in place. So don't play like we stupid. Now, they're bombing boats in the Caribbean without a trial, without proof. Are you okay with that?
Enemy combatants, yes, I'm okay with that.
I'm done. All right, bye. I'm glad your plane landed. Something else landed. I don't know. You had a bumpy ride or something. Bye, Verlon. Anybody who would say that just bombing people's boats without proof, without proving to the American people, without a trial, without court, is just, that's the brain that I want to take when he leaves here to this museum, to some museum somewhere, and just examine and see what the heck is going on. Leo from Carolina, South Carolina. Okay, we're going to go to break, then we'll come right back to you, Leo. Don't go nowhere.
Have you ever stopped and thought about how fast life moves? From childhood to careers to building a family? Before you know it, you're thinking about what really matters. At Total Dentistry, we've been part of that journey for over 30 years, caring for families, building relationships, and yes, creating confident, healthy smiles. While a lot has changed, technology, our team, even our space, one thing hasn't. We want to be the reason someone smiles. And now that mission is growing. For over a decade, our family has supported Sun Life Ministries in Honduras. This year, we're taking the next step, helping to bring dental care to communities that don't have it. Because a smile isn't just cosmetic. it's confidence, it's dignity, it's life-changing. So if you're looking for a dental practice that truly cares for you, your family, and beyond, look no further. Total Dentistry, a general dental practice like no other. Call 847-358-2477 or visit totaldentistry.org.
This is a WCPT Veteran Minute. In 1939, when Europe was on the brink of war, a single mother was bringing Jewish refugees into her home, teaching her two daughters to help others when you can and fight injustice. Freddie and Charles Alferstegen took their mother's advice to heart, joining their mother in distributing anti-Nazi newspapers and pamphlets for the resistance, a dangerous act when the Nazis invaded the Netherlands. But with the girls being young, Freddie being only 14 and Charles being only 16, Nazis were less likely to suspect them to be working for the resistance. This is most likely why in 1941, a commander of the Haarlem resistance group to ask their mother if he could recruit Freddie and Truss. Their mother and the girls agreed and were given basic training, and within 2 years the girls were bringing Jewish refugees into hiding, working in emergency hospitals, sabotaging bridges and railway lines, and killing Nazis, sometimes ambushing them from their bicycles. Despite the Netherlands not wanting to acknowledge the girls' achievements, their contributions to helping the Allied powers will never be unnoticed.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GRAVY25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GRAVY25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GRAVY25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Save big money on everything at Menards. Take control of your outdoor space with Roundup Weed and Grass Killer. The Pump and Go container is ready and easy to use. With the Pump and Go sprayer, you don't need to mix your own liquid, and you get up to 10 minutes of continuous spray. Save big on Roundup Weed and Grass Killer. Plus, check out our flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Jessica Ettinger, CNBC. It was a mixed start to May trading on Wall Street today. U.S. crude oil heading into the weekend above $100 a barrel. Let's check the Dow. It finished the day down 152 points. It was led lower by shares of drug maker Amgen, which were down more than 4% today. The S&P 500 index in the green, up 21. The Nasdaq was up 222 points, almost 1%. Shares of NVIDIA were in the red today, down 0.5%. Investors are closely watching prices at the pump, which soared this week. AAA says an average gallon of regular in the U.S. has gone up 35 cents in just 1 week. The national average price per gallon today hit $4.39. Diesel, the national average, is now more than $2 higher than this same time a year ago. Jessica Ettinger, CNBC.
Hear the CNBC business updates each weekday at 9:30, 12:30, and 4:30. Now your WCPT 820 Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. A couple of patchy showers early tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Areas of frost developing in the suburbs. We'll see a low temperature of 36 degrees with northeast winds at 5 to 10. Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature around 47 degrees. Sunday, cloudy with some hit-and-miss showers around and a high temperature of 64. Monday, chance of showers and storms with a high temperature around 73 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 46.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Now back to Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT 820.
Okay, this is Rickey Hendon. Joan will be back Monday. We're going to get through these calls, and then I'm going to go to my guest. My son, Ricky. Little Rick is on line 11. Hey, Rick. Hey, son, what's going on?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, depending on where you're listening from. Happy to be talking with you all today.
Tell us about the protest real quick, because I'm up against the clock.
You got it. So I was right on ground zero, which I probably shouldn't even use that language, because oftentimes these protests are made to seem like they're violent or that there's so much more going on. Again, it was very peaceful. People were motivated, but I was right in Union Park when it started. And then obviously marched towards Daly Plaza. And one of the things that I'll say is I've gone to all of the No Kings protests. I was a huge protest goer. There were a lot of smaller factions and new factions that I had not heard about organizing. And so that is something I think is a point of optimism, especially because it's just on a Friday when they usually happen on the weekend.
Right. We need newer people and younger people. So was the a younger crowd, I hope, as well?
Yeah, younger than normal, right? Because with this being the May Day protest, the whole purpose is that you don't take advantage in consumerism and try to have essentially an economic strike, right? I think a more targeted strike in specific industries is the best method, but this was the goal of it. So a lot of people were in school, a lot of kids took off from school to come be a part of this protest. The Chicago Teachers Union was out there in heavy force. And so it was a younger protest for sure.
Okay, every race, creed, and color?
Everyone underneath the sun. You had your yellows, your purples, your browns, your blues, a couple aliens.
And you was out there, so we definitely had the blacks.
Yeah, we're definitely out there.
Right.
And my uncle came. Uncle Jerry came. So,
all right, Jerry. So
out there and,
I don't have to bail y'all out of jail, right?
There's none of that happening.
Okay,
none
good.
Of it. Don't believe what you see. We literally just turned on the TV and we saw clips from the protest. And it was the two interactions where people had a little tussle. You know what I mean? And that was it. But it's always made to seem worse than it is and romanticized in the worst ways. But
all right.
It was really peaceful.
Well, I hate to rush you, but I'm up against the clock. But thank you for letting us know with that update.
You got it.
My son. All right, Rick. Next time I'm on the show, I want you to come with me. All right, let's go to Leon from South Carolina. Welcome to the Joan Esposito Show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I'm kind of responding to your conservative friend. I am somewhat heartened by the Supreme Court ruling myself, not for the same reason. The way I see it, if we play this right, this is a good way to end the Electoral College. For example, if you're not allowed to gerrymander based on race, the upside of that is white is a race. Okay, and in all of these white majority states, basically what the Supreme Court is saying, you're not allowed to have a majority race. Therefore, you have to either hold votes by state or hold votes by the popular vote of the nation.
I'm with that.
Okay.
I sure hope we get rid of the Electoral College. I'm with that 100%. You get the majority of the votes, you should win.
Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, pay attention. If they refuse to play fair, play by their rules.
Man.
I'm a big fan of polling. We can't gerrymander by race. Get rid of gerrymandering. Get rid of voting by or picking your own voters. The entire state votes.
And get rid of the Electoral College. I'm with that.
Get rid of. So let's push that. If the Supreme Court wants to play this game, the only other option is they can say that basically conservatives and or white people get to make all the rules, which is going to lead to another American Revolution. So you pick your change.
You pick your change. Thank you for your call. I wish I had more time. All right, let's go to John, and then we're going to go to my guest. Hello, John.
Hello,
yeah,
Ricky.
Go right ahead. You'll be my last caller for the day, and then I have to go to my guest. Go right ahead.
Okay, my brother. Hey, you tell that guy, that friend of yours, conservative friend, man, wake up. Wake up, man. I'm a military veteran. Mm-hmm. That man is over there killing people, man. It's laws against what he's doing, just bombing up, keep people like that. And the Congress should be waking up. He's done murders, people like that, man. I was in the Army 8 years. 8 years, Ricky.
8 years. Thank you for your service.
We couldn't do that.
Right.
We couldn't just bomb somebody for nothing.
Right.
And he's not supposed to be doing that, man. So
there's supposed to be rules of engagement. He don't care. Trump don't care. Today's May the 1st. He's supposed to have to go to Congress. He said he ain't going.
He did it. And our black people Wake up, man. They will do us the same way. Stop being ignorant. They will do us the same way.
Absolutely.
Don't be ignorant for the lies.
I love your compassion. I love your compassion, but I gotta go, unfortunately. But thank you for your call. All right. Ed Yohnka is on the line with us. He's the director of the Communications and Public Policy to ACLU. Sorry for the delay. I just wanted to clear those calls out. I need you for about an hour.
But I was glad to hear for the report about the protest today. That's fantastic.
Thank you. So dive right in. You know everything that's going on. What positions does the wonderful organization take on what's going on in the world today as far as what the Supreme Court just did?
Yeah,
we can start with that.
Yeah, let's start with that. We were, we're really devastated and incredibly, I'd say outraged at the fact that the Supreme Court of the United States took and held, essentially eviscerated Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, an act that Congress has reviewed and in a bipartisan way renewed throughout its history. It's been signed into law, those renewals by both presidents that are Democrat and Republican. And remember that what that section does is ensure that, especially in the South, people of color, especially Black voters, have an opportunity to be able to elect a representative who represents their interests. You're going to have these states that have 30 or 40% of its voters who are African American be represented by nothing but white Republicans when this gerrymandering is over as the result of this ruling. And the reality is that essentially the court is, playing fast and loose with the idea that somehow we are in a post-racial society in America, that all of our racial problems have been over. Yes, and that we can, as a result of that, just simply move forward and just do this. And I think that, at the end of the day, the answer here for folks is we need to elect, a Congress on both sides, in both chambers, and a president who will, reaffirm through legislation that equal representation still means something in this society. And that's something I think we could see if we all work together towards that end.
Now, I've noticed that most of the lawsuits that ACLU file, you win. You win the vast majority of them. I won't say it's 100% because, it's probably not 100% of anything in the world. But you win a vast majority of them, I believe, because you're always on the right side. 99% of the time, you're on the right side. But even when you're on the right side, you lose sometime. Why is that?
Well, first of all, remember that, number one, I think you're right. We are always defending what is in the Constitution. That is a very hard standard for, the Trump administration or any administration for that matter at the federal, state, or local level to overcome. Mm-hmm. Protecting individual rights that are guaranteed in the Constitution is very clear. I think the other thing is that, we like others, work as hard as we can on these cases in a thoughtful way. So, one of the cases that we've been working on along with the National Immigrant Justice Center and the and others has to do with, people who were arrested without warrants during the ICE activity in Chicago. Right. We've gotten hundreds of people released from detention because we're following that constitutional principle that the Fourth Amendment means you have to have a warrant in order to do that, right? So I take something like that. We have a case again with the MacArthur Justice Center, and a private law firm in which we challenged the conditions under which people were being held at the Broadview Detention Center or processing center, which became a detention center. It turns out if you crowd hundreds of people in a place, it gets dirty. They don't have enough food. They don't have enough restroom facilities. And that's not constitutional. And so a judge has ordered that to be changed. And we're hoping that order will be turned from a temporary order into a permanent order.
Now, I'm so glad to hear that. I didn't want to cut you off, but I had to.
No, go ahead.
I had to put this in there because you'll appreciate that. I really appreciate that because my son got tear gassed out there at Broadview.
Yeah.
And he came home. Well, we want to stay together. He came to my house, after the protest, and I got sick from what he was coughing back up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm like, son, I love you. I want to see my son, but till you stop coughing, because, I'm older. My body may not can take, but they tear gas and pepper sprayed them. So I'm glad to hear that you all got in that fight at Broadview.
Yeah. And I think what that reflects, frankly, is in all of these things, the ACLU just argued the birthright citizenships case before the Supreme Court, and we anticipate that we'll, win a majority, in that case. I think what is things is when you see these clear violations of the law, and it doesn't matter who does it, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, right. You have to challenge them, you have to take them to court, and you have to push back. And when you do that in a smart, strategic way, you win.
Now, I've heard the president, and I believe I've heard the president, and I want you to expound on this, threaten your guys, threaten your organization because of the getting involved in these lawsuits. Have you gotten any pushback from the administration? That would not be normal?
Yeah. Some. I think one of the things is he tends to shy away from criticizing us directly in large measure because, as you point out, we've been very successful against him. But, certainly he and some of his acolytes have, been very boisterous in terms of criticizing the work of the organization. Some within the administration were very critical of, the case that we brought challenging their use of the Espionage Act and the Aliens Enemies Act early in the administration. So, we've gotten some of that, but, we're here doing work in courts. We are abiding by rules and filing appropriate motions and making arguments in courts for judges to determine, it's not as though we're seeking to, engage in anything that is either unlawful or nefarious in any way. So, when those criticisms come, they tend to come because the president and his friends are losing. Right. And what, really what the critique is not of us, but it is of the fact that his power is being checked.
Exactly. And you've been involved in so many lawsuits. So the one that is currently on the table with the redistricting and the Supreme Court, are you all involved in any of those states, or is it a national lawsuit going forward? Or how do you file a lawsuit if the Supreme Court has already ruled? I guess that's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, so let me just say, because there is a little bit of breaking news this afternoon, as you know, or may have heard, yesterday, the governor of Louisiana essentially issued a state of emergency
and stop the election.
Right. So that he can get a better political outcome from it. We filed a lawsuit today challenging that state of emergency because we can't find a rule where the emergency is we might lose. The emergency is we might not do as well as we want to do, so we want to do this over while people are voting already.
Right.
And so, what we'll do is in Louisiana, we'll continue to challenge in every way we can, whatever new maps they draw. We're going to challenge this effort to block the stopping of the election here. We will file lawsuits, I predict, in other states, where they will do redistricting and cut people of color out from representation. And, frankly, we'll be working in states, including like Illinois and other states, to see if there are other protections that we can put in our electoral system to make sure that everybody gets a chance to vote.
But see, the protection was already in. You were supposed to redistrict every 10 years. That's the law. I mean, so they found a way around the law. And here's my concern, Ed. And this is why you got to file in Louisiana. You got to win. Because if the governor of Louisiana can say, I'm stopping this election because of the emergency, Trump can say, I'm stopping the election because of the emergency, and his ass stay president. I mean, well, I didn't mean to say that WCPT came out, but so what stops him if you lose in Louisiana and you and the other civil rights attorneys that are filing?
Yeah.
Doesn't that set a precedent, not just in the state, but in the national election, that the president can say we're at war, so no election, or state of emergency?
I think there's two things. First of all, one of the reasons you file a lawsuit is to demonstrate you cannot do this. And I think it's very important to set that precedent, as you say, that you can't just stop elections in the middle because you don't like the way they're going. And I think the second thing is that we also have a chance now. You know, I suspect that lots of people heard about the decision on Thursday from the Supreme Court. Lots of people heard, not a lot of people heard about the emergency order, and that would have gone by. One of the things you do by challenging these kinds of practices is you want to be able to have this conversation that you and I are having right now, right? We cannot live in a world where it's normal for people to just stop an election because they don't like the way it's going. And that is the most important thing we can do. It's why fighting in this instance is so critical.
I couldn't agree with you more. Trump's latest poll numbers at 34% and going further south. So it behooves him and those who want to stay in power because they want to protect themselves over the Epstein thing, or they just want to keep making money, or the American grift can keep going to cancel the election. So good luck. You got to win that one, because I believe that's the precursor for canceling the midterms.
It all looks like a dress rehearsal for what he wants to do in the midterms. And look, we know that this is a president who wants to rule as an authoritarian, but he keeps getting blocked. And we have to keep fighting this, whether it's about a ballroom, whether it's about, a war, whether it's about, redistricting, we have to continue to fight these efforts no matter where we find them.
I just want to commend you on your great work. We only have a few minutes. I hate we had callers. I had to go ahead and take them. I hate people to call in when I take them, but I need more time with you, man. I mean, because it's so much. The real quick, the bombing of the ships in the Caribbean are really bothering me. Are you guys involved in that at all to try to stop that nonsense?
We represent the family of two victims of the murders that have taken place in the Caribbean. These were fishermen who were bombed, who were part of that effort. We represent their families bringing complaints against the United States. There has been no evidence that they were involved in any kind of nefarious activity. There is no proof that they were involved in any sort of drug trafficking. That isn't, that's not a military action. And we should note this. The administration releases these, the administration releases these videos as though they're military successes. They're really, frankly, just murder. And so we continue to challenge those, as well. This is not, again, we cannot create a standard
this
that the
is not
military
okay.
can just,
this is not okay. We
again
have
and again.
Lawyers and judges. You have a right to trial. And Trump, it's like I heard the last number I heard was 47. 47 different attacks. But we're the good guys, So anything you want to add this last 2 minutes? 1 minute.
I will just say, let me just wait. I just raise one other issue just for the listeners. Yesterday, just out of the blue, the Trump Justice Department announced that they are launching an investigation of 36 different schools around the state of Illinois for allegedly using sexual orientation and gender identity content content in their curricula. And, you know, it's just one of these crazy things. Think about this. The Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. thinks that they ought to spend taxpayer money and then divert schools from doing educational work all across the state of Illinois. And I will say these schools are large and small in all parts of the state in order to see what their curricula is. I think that's the job for administrators and teachers, not for somebody at the DOJ in Washington.
Especially nobody who want to play holier than thou while they're surrounded by pedophiles and child sex traffickers and Epsteins and all that in one. You know, especially not them, because they're not the pure holier than thou Christians that they pretend to be. I really appreciate you, man. You wrapped my show up today for Joan excellently. And if I'm back, I want you back. Can we do that?
All right.
All right.
Thanks so much. We'll do.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, WCPT. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Lady B. I had a great time. Thank you, Joan. Love you. Call me again. I'll be here.
Are you ready to experience Manifest, the annual arts festival from Columbia College Chicago? For 25 years, Manifest has been the ultimate celebration